Carapace stolen. You would ideally want to have Impale, but there are some uncontrollable damage.
Is that a shackle shot and an illusion? That's not ideal, but they'll snipe the courier regardless as BCC's dragged to the low ground with the vacuum up. Rubik sent skywards the stolen vacuum though, and the shackle shot latching onto both of them allows Yoey to get the focus fire, but he's overgrowthed up. Shackle shot landing again, he's got them caught up inside, and BDC's going to TP home. Afterlife, he might be able to turn with Immersion and Dream here arriving, but Yoey sprints away with the wind run, and Immersion's left isolated by the rest of his squad. Afterlife arriving again, Iron Shell's coming, and the adaptive strike, the shackle shot, Yoey, he turns it back onto him once more. Morphling can't get anything done, and Immersion needs the surge to save him.
Power shot again, gets him!
He gets him!
Man, Yoey has been on point with those power shots.
And now they've got Dream stuck. Thunderstrike with the kinetic field, he has to BKB! BKB wasted!
Acid Ring still available, Living Armor as well, so he will live, but a great trade for Execration. That's exactly what they need to do. Play a bit more aggressively. Broodmother still taking the top part of the map, controlling the jungle. Pipe done.
Keeping it locked for now, so I guess you get the double barrier. Use your hood, then use your pipe. We'll see if he gets full utilization out of that little trick. But farming incredibly well. Still a little bit behind the Darkseer though, the counterpart there is Pos 3. Around 8,000 net worth. As mid lane, Static Storm, they know there's no BKB on Gyro. The focus fire and that nuke from the Broodmother clears up the Gyrocopter. Courier sniped and a glimpse back on Afterlife. Darkseer dragged in, he's got a vacuum and a wall. Catches out a couple, but that Impale only onto one, and the pipe saves them all. Nico keeps the Spoilings alive while BZZ overgrowth in 2 seconds. Kinetic field will trap Lauren off, and Afterlife inside. Immersion can't move either, and the Phantom Lancer shreds through the tree, and hey, he's done for. I do got a bit of trade onto RR there. Afterlife Illusions causing a little bit of chaos. But Execration with that kill on Gyrocopter, so meaningful for them.
Yoey once again, landing a great Shackle, followed up by a Static Storm. Morphling, what is he getting? He's getting Butterfly next. Very interesting.
Even though you're against Maelstrom Wind Ranger, yeah? Oh. I guess against the Phantom Lance, that's going to help out pretty nicely. And PL not a hero that likes to buy MKB.
I think he's gonna change. He also, like, just shotgun is too good against the supports. If you wanna, like, tank up, you can get Scotty.
And you can wait out the Wind Ranger's BKB, and she's so squishy, blow her up every fight. If you bide your time. Now we might start to see the strength of these two supports. Disruptor and Rubik. Roaming towards the Morphling, but they won't find Lauren off. And he does buy the Talisman of Evasion, so he's going to Butterfly.
Could be just a casual Talisman. I don't know if this is like
a good build.
Good build early on. Having a 25-minute Firefly sounds good, but you're still rather squishy. They can burst you down.
Like your effective HP isn't that great without more strength, without more HP.
Sentry
Vacuum,
Ward.
stun, good Static Storm field. 2 of them stuck inside, and the Shackle shot there towards the Darkseer. They do blow through BDZ, but the Phantom Lance is starting to arrive with his illusions. They'll keep back Gambit, but the Morphlings moved in aggressively onto Yoey. Adaptive strike there, not going to finish him off, so Wind Ranger fine. And the pressure continues and mounts on that mid-tier 1 tower as Gambit bring the numbers. Forced the buyback from the Rubik, and now the Doppelganger away by the PL. The tower's down, that's what they came for, and that's what they'll claim. All the glimpse
back, BKB available. He had time to BKB, but they're gonna protect him. Everyone's just gonna get there. Not far for him, so that means that the Nico will take the tier 2 tower on the top lane.
So now Gambit have to change their plan, move Gyro down to bottom lane, it looks like. Try and protect him down there instead, but Nico, no tier 2 means Outpost belongs to the Broodmother, and that's going to be a really difficult objective to reclaim at any point against Brood.
We mentioned the Darkseer item build in this game, like no shenanigans. I love that people are staying away from Aghanim Scepter Rush. On the hero, I don't think it's that great. We talked about the Crimson Guard, he decided to go for it.
Nice.
Plus a mech, like there's so much damage removed from PL, from Broodmother Spiderlings, and the Wind Ranger Focus Fire. It's actually an insane item, probably the best one that they can get. You counter all 3 cores with 1 item.
Especially for a team that doesn't necessarily rely on cooldowns to do damage. The Gyro, the Morphling really are just damage over time in these extended team fights. If you can keep them alive, they get multiple rounds of flat cannon or waveforms just to keep that damage going. A really good item build, like you say, from the Darks here. We're still waiting for Yoei to get the BKB, about halfway to his BKB recipe. But at some point, looking at these two drafts, the dual core from Gambit, that gyro morphling with the vacuum
scary.
wall, the Treant, the Nyx Assassin, the team fight is really scary. Do you think the PL is an answer? Is he the king of this game?
Not with the item build that he's going for.
What's he up to?
He's going for Lens and want to get a shard to be more annoying, especially for the supports. But these supports, they're relatively tanky. Nyx Assassin has a carapace. You have the String Protector with the Holy Locket, just amplifying the healing for himself and for the team, plus the Overgrowth. So I don't think it's that good. I don't think he's going to be able to just stand the ground and fight.
Yeah. Need some more stats, potentially.
Their heroes are also not good at going in and out multiple times. Like, BKBs are down, you're going to get blown up. This is what the mana burn really excels at, which is maxed out. I really love what the immersion on Nyx is doing.
Oh yeah, against all these int heroes, right? Disruptor, Rubik, and the Wind Ranger, the prime one. As they move into Roshan, Gambit, they know they're strong around this timing. Morphling Gyro, they're ready with all the team fight behind them, like we're explaining.
Playing into Overgrowth plus Vacuum Wall inside the pit.
It's a mess.
It's really a mess. Power Shot is gonna miss. Broodmother coming from the north. They see her.
They see the Brood. They're spamping it out, saying, hey, Nico, careful, buddy. There's the stun coming in onto the Broodmother. Nico trying to heal himself up. He's got the pipe. He's got Solar Crest. He's tanky inside these webs as well with the Essence Ring. The Overgrowth catches and the cooldown comes. So Brood down, and Roshan opens up again for Gambit. Well, Yoei, he's forced a BKB Wind Run.
His mana already got burned. 1 mana burn. It's a 4-second cooldown ability. Very nice.
That's a free Roshan for Gambit now, isn't it?
A Broodmother, if they want to contest, they need to buy back on a Broodmother. Otherwise, the Rosh just goes down.
Yeah, they
it's
can't.
At 1/3.
It's first Roshan, so it's not a massive deal, it feels like here. But it's still momentum out of the hands of Execration and firmly in the grasp of AS Monaco Gambit. I buy up a Blink Dagger on Rubik, so looking towards these team fights for that counter initiation. And they've definitely got the ability here, steal Vacuum, steal Nyx Stun, try and combo up with the Disruptor. A difficult prospect for them, though. And Phantom Lance, like you said, yeah, there's the build. Aether Lens, Shard coming out on the Courier. So we will be able to clear out waves. And
going Octarine next, it makes a lot of sense with level 15 talents, -3 seconds on a Spirit Lance.
But yeah, no Scardy, no Heart, no ability to, like you say, stand his ground, to stick it in team fights.
It does not give you tankiness. You're sitting at 1600 HP, 1800 with power strides on strength.
It's like the entirety of their draft is like that. They're all a bunch of spellcasters. No one's really particularly tanky. They need to get that perfect execution. I feel it's going to start from RR or Yoei.
Now it's a full Butterfly on Morphling. So you have, as you mentioned, that Maelstrom that procs. It deals with the evasion, but all other right clicks, they don't.
Yeah, so something to deal with that Phantom Lancer in the meanwhile. And what's next for Lorinov? You mentioned like the Scardy or something like that. Does he consider BKB in this game?
I might need to. When you're not right now, because he's in a good spot, holding the Aegis, sitting at 400 gold. We'll have to see. If he dies like straight away, I think BKB is kind of a must. So you don't get your mana burn.
Well, Afterlife pops the smoke on Disruptor. So another failed move. Execration get a bit of a high ground ward going. Try and look towards that mid-tier 2 and the dire triangle area.
Now it's going to be much easier to execute the combo. Immersion, Nyx Assassin, went for a Blink Dagger after just finishing off the Fluffy Hat.
Finishing it off.
It's an expensive item, Gary.
He's going to sew it himself, put all the components together. And he's going to lead the charge here with Afterlife, surging the Morphling. Lorinov. They see the Phantom Lancer illusions, and they know he was nearby recently.
Disruptor is a good
Disruptor and a DDPL from the high ground. They catch out the Treant first, but the Vacuum Wall stun on 2. They're going to blow through RR. The Stack Storm comes out, but a little bit too late as they've already destroyed the Wind Ranger. Yoei's gone with no buyback in Gambit. Once again, a firm grasp on this Radiant side of the map.
They're just too tanky. I don't think they have enough damage to actually kill a hero.
No, that mid-game had to go much better for Execration for them to really levy themselves some kind of momentum, and so far it's just been Gambit all the way. Now this first Roshan, I say, just going to claim them up some tier 2s. They will have to address the Broodmother problem back in their base.
Oh, stolen mana burn. He's probably going to pay with his life for that one.
Yeah, pay for his insolence. No more stealing my spells. He's got a carapace. I don't know. No. BDZ's done.
Seems like it's the mana burn patch again. I remember Medusa when she was stealing mana plus the next assassin. You get both of these.
PL. He's going on a one-man mission here. Manta Star's away from the overgrowth. The glimpse on to the next assassin, it looks like, but he's out. He's blinked away. Immersion's perfectly fine, and they're going to try and surge BZZ out of the grasp of that Phantom Lancer. Doppelganging forward, but can't latch onto a target.
That's Crimson Guard doing God's work. They just don't have enough damage. Love the build on Afterlife. We're going to go into Guardian Greaves, which will replenish some of the mana, give them more tankiness, and now aiming up for a Blink Dagger. So even better execution of the combo. They caught the Gyrocopter, who's also going into Butterfly.
Phantom Lancer's going to close the gap on him, though. And Dream has the BKB. There's a nice one from Yoei too. Trying to turn back onto Dream as the BKB is about to wear out. A little power shot towards the Treant as well. Execration, they're edging forward. They want to continue this battle, knowing that there are a number of cooldowns that Gambit no longer have at their disposal. And Morphling shackle shot in, but still holding on to Aegis for about a minute. Yeah, waveforming forward. Wind Ranger getting caught out with no BKB. There's the shackle shot from Lorinov.
He got mad. He got shackled so many times. Will turn into Wind Ranger most of the time. And another one.
Lorinov goes max agi, and Immersion's there with the chain stuns. One after the other. They all fall to pieces.
Aegis will be reclaimed in 30 seconds, going into MKB next. He's going full greed on this Morphling.
He's going big right-click build, and they're going to find RR here, yeah. Can't escape. Gambit, 18-9. Nice, solid 6k lead for them. They're even thinking about pushing high ground. Force some buybacks here at the very least. Aegis, what, in 5 seconds or so?
PL does not have damage. He is annoying. His mana burn is also annoying. Something that no one wants to play into, but where's the damage gonna come from?
Yeah, they've got a lot of heroes that are nuisances, but no real threats. Darkseer, like you've been saying, the perfect build for him. Sustains and heals and turns on the Palos. He just kills off the Phantom Lancer. It's a good shackle shot towards the Morphling in the DS. Can they kill him off? Lorinov says absolutely not. I'm going to turn and shackle shot you. He's got it, catching the Rubik in the back as well as the Static Storm whips out on them. They do buyback on the PL. In comes the Blink. Overgrowth from BZZ, though, saving the Morphling. And they've got the follow through. Get him to waveform away. Shackle shot yet again. Latching onto the Nyx behind him. And a BKB TP from Gyro gets him out to safety, so they'll trade a couple of lives here to extricate themselves from the Radiant base.
Oh man, this is good for Execration. They keep the Barracks alive, so Barracks was at 100 HP. Seems like the Shackle Shot is the best ability in the game.
Apparently so. I still don't know how the Morphling managed to catch 2 heroes with his, but BDZ's in the mid lane now. Another Shackle Shot, Immersion, and
he's gonna lose the gem.
The gem on him. Oh, that's a bit of trouble for him. Immersion's still stuck in the field, and that's it dropped. Do they note it? Oh, they do. They pinged it out.
It was his gem to start with. RR bought it, so they need to give him back. Original owner.
And Palos now heading into the heart of Tarask. Did he finish Octarine, or has he swapped builds now?
He swapped. He had the buyback in the previous fight, so no gold for him.
Realizing he's had problems. Either needed damage or sustain. And Broodmother into a Scythe of Vice, it looks like. Pops out the tome for herself. Well, there you go, where's Wind Ranger? Trying to farm through the triangle anywhere that she can find to pick up her own net worth.
Morphling realizing I can die, after that death. Maybe it's time to get a real defensive item. Has BKB queued up, which I really like. MKB is expensive. It's very aggressive, deals well with the Wind Ranger. I don't think they need to, it's in this game, I feel it's 5th/6th item for Morphling after BKB, maybe a Scotty, Satanic, just to be able to tank up and then get MKB, because you have tools to deal with other heroes. You don't necessarily need to go in and just blow up Wind Ranger.
Well, so far it's been a pretty good showing of Execration on how they can control the map, right? They haven't lost any barracks yet. They've kept that top lane shoved the entirety of the game, it feels like. So this 5-man from Gambit hasn't really found the success it would have wanted. And there are still openings here to find individual pickoffs for Execration if they can get the right smoke ganks, the right timing. But I feel like the wind is still in the sails of Gambit, and they'll be ready to smoke and make another move shortly, especially with the potential Roshan respawn coming up in just under a minute. 40 seconds or so till fast spawn on the big man. And they will shove the Broodmother out of that top lane and come cruising through their own jungle. And yeah, the Iron Shell on the Spiralings there causing a few problems for everyone involved.
All we need targets. Is TB. Broodmother, Phantom Lancer, TB.
Monkey King. Invisibility. I guess Monkey's ulti doesn't cause too many issues anymore. Lovely little fixes coming out of Valve.
Before it was TB against PL, it was unplayable.
Yeah. Too many illusions with that reflection.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Afterlife, heading into Shiver's Guard after his blink. He's going to walk all the way back to base. A little afraid of that smoke maneuver we were mentioning, that Execration do need to pull off very soon. And they're also going to be relying on their buybacks, as Roshan is 1.5 minutes away.
Looking at the vision, Radiant does not have a single ward across the river. There's only one ward near their outpost, and that's pretty much it.
And Windranger going to have to TP back up the top to defend again. It's been a really exceptional showing here from Gambit. Now they're able to control this Broodmother and make sure she's not able to do those nice sweeping movements from the top through to mid and in that jungle. They are holding the outpost as best they can as that 5-man squad. And they are going to smoke. And this is the Roshan fight they've been waiting for. Second Roshan, 45 seconds away. And who's the catch? It's Rubik up top. There's also a Windranger here nearby, but Afterlife smoke popped. He blinks up to high ground and finds nothing.
Has been killed.
They do get a courier, so not nothing in the end.
There's something. Roche will respawn in 30 seconds. Lanes are in a decent state for Gambit. Mid across the river, bottom they have creep advantage and they will push out the top lane.
And a smoke from Execration and PL, Windranger, sending their Lancers, Illusions and Power Shots into mid to shove the wave across. And a Haste Rune going to get grabbed up by the Rubik. No, he's going to leave it there for the bottle refill of the Windranger.
Oh. It's also 6,000 gold unspent on Broodmother, which is another 5k gold lead kind of for Gambit.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have items, you're really not doing anything with it.
It's worthless. They're going to get some dewarding going. They jump high ground, 3-man vac wall, but a good stun turnaround back onto the Morphling who has to BKB. They blow through the Rubik. BDC's down. Still some decent expenditure by Gambit to get that one kill, so Execration not too sad about it, but they need to contest this Roshan.
Execration doesn't have a way of starting a fight. They don't have that position 4 that goes in. Broodmother can scout things out, power shot. Like if she lands a good shackle, we'll need to follow it up by a focus fire plus a BKB. It's already a 6-second BKB.
The power shot scouts, but Roshan's already dead, it looks like. Lornoff gets the Aegis. Phantom Lancer throws out some Lancers. The Static Storm's down, but the PL's caught out. Needs the Glimmer, needs to save the Doppelganger away. Gyrocopter coming to clear the illusions. The overgrowth vacuum, they've caught the two of them. Down goes RR, and BDZ with that buyback has to retreat, but Palos scouted. They see the Windranger too, and Emergence sets it up with a stun. Look at him go! The Phantom Lancer didn't stand a chance in hell. He's dead for 100 seconds, and probably game over.
Phantom Lancer's just not dealing enough damage. He kind of got baited by this build, which is okay in certain situations. I don't think this was the situation playing into 2 Agicores. You need to be able to match up against them. Supports are tanky enough. Like you are annoying, but you don't deal enough damage. And this build from Darkseer not allowing them to actually get any kills. Guardian Greaves keeping them alive, living armor plus a Crimson Guard, and they're gonna go for the finish.
Yeah, they're going for tier 4s and Throne. They know he doesn't have buyback. They've timed it. It's still on cooldown for 2 minutes. So that means there's no Phantom Lancer, no damage, no nuisance, and they're just going to go for tier 4s and Throne. It's a shackle shot, sure, but Afterlife, he's got so much heal and sustain. He's fine there with a living armor on top of him as well. And Lornoff is just pummeling the Throne.
This is what we call zoning abilities, Gary. Zoning wall, zoning cooldown.
Vacuum. BDC's in, but the game is over. I call the GG. Gambit take game 1.
And this is a big win for them. You know, Dream after the performance on Void in
For sure.
game number 2. Now he gets pretty much a perfect game. I believe he died only one time on the gyrocopter, get his confidence up, and he delivered. Like they gave him the hero that he really shines on. Not a big, like, Rubik, man, I don't know how many times I've said it during the last season. This hero just straight up loses the game.
Lackluster. Really, really lackluster, yeah. And especially when we were looking at that draft thinking Wind Ranger needs to pop off, Rubik needs to get some 6 steals and pop off, Disruptor needs to get these ganks going. So much had to go right for Execration, and the mid-game, it just didn't. It's
very hard with a lineup like this where you have Wind Ranger as a core who's relatively squishy, you have 2 supports who pretty much do the same job, and then you have a Broodmother on top of it.
You're reliant on your Phantom Lancer, really
pretty much. And
picking the whole team up.
Went for different items.
Yeah, well, we can pass it back to the panel to break down game 1.
Well, Jenkins, that was definitely a Crimson Guard game. Let's actually talk about everything that did happen and look at Gambit versus Execration. We got one more game to play. It's been a roller coaster for Gambit. Let's talk about some of the minutia of this first game in their best of 2.
Sure, yeah. Well, you mentioned the Crimson Guard. That I mean, it's a weird thing to think about in the draft because, like, even as we were going through it, we were thinking, okay, like they need a mid that's active, a mid that probably has like some sort of stun, nuking potential, somebody to actually go in and do things. Like instead of being a +1, like having a hero that can actually do stuff. It's like, oh, Wind Ranger. Well, you already have a PL, you already have a Broodmother, and so you have 2 heroes that deal damage with these small damage sources, and then you pick another one, and then all of a sudden Darkseer picks up the Crimson Guard, and literally from that point onward, the fights looked horrendous. They looked almost impossible. And I don't want to blame it just on the Crimson Guard, but I mean, countering 3 cores with 1 item that's pretty nice.
Especially when your support duo also does not really deal damage. You have a Disruptor and a Rubik.
True.
At most, these are heroes that provide utility and control. They are not going to be able to lift the power of magic damage. That's not their responsibility. And so once all these 3 cores are taken offline, it's an uphill battle. And the Morphling, again, was like a perfect steal from the Wind Ranger every single time. So he was impossible to kill with the evasion from the Wind Run. And Gyrocopter was on Broodmother duty, so he also had his responsibilities all easy peasy. Because we were talking about, we were like, we don't really like having your carry be the responsibility for taking care of Broodmother. But here, it wasn't really too much trouble for him. He would just show up to a fight, turn on flat gang, and he's like, I'm team fighting, and I'm also making sure Broodmother's useless.
Exactly. It's like this idea that it's like non-committal. Like, it's not a big deal for a Gyrocopter to do that. Like, number one, if you're doing it on the map, he's relatively fast, right? And like you can do it while jungling Brood's camp, so you can like do it while farming. And then in team fights, like you mentioned, you're literally going to be doing it anyway. You're just going in flacking, and like if the spiders are there, they're there and they die. And Brood felt like a non-factor in this game past the early game. The early game looked really good. They got the tier 2, like happens in every single Broodmother game, so that looked really nice. Like Brood seems really difficult to deal with in the early game, but man, it falls off.
And this was even a Radiant Brood, because we were talking about how we find Radiant Brood to be much more effective, being able to maintain control of the outposts and then subsequent Roche control. But it was not the first phase opening that you would hope for from Execration. And Gambit, not that shaken, it seems.
Yeah,
especially with a good draft like this.
This is definitely... you want that first win, because now they have the potential to bounce back in this series. It seems like they're in good spirits, and you got to give them credit that they do have the mettle that you need in a situation like this to bounce back, take a tough defeat, and there are going to be tough defeats when you're in a wild card scenario like this. So we'll look ahead right now towards game number 2 and try to see what they might bring, and also what Execration might be able to tweak, because it did seem like the draft was a pretty important factor in that one, Tsunami.
Broodmother has been figured out. I thought that maybe, I've given it some time off. Got the pipe, didn't get Greaves, ended up going Solar Crest in the Scythe, which is creative. I give points for focusing more on offensive utility as opposed to defensive utility, which is usually what we see the Broodmothers in the DPC Season 2 do, but the hero is still the same hero. Whatever you build differently is not going to fundamentally change how she's played. Maybe she'll do a little bit more damage, maybe she'll do a little bit more crowd control, maybe she keeps your team alive a little bit longer, but ultimately she is never going to right-click people.
Yeah, you're in a situation where you're just trying to make up for the weaknesses, and you might be able to patch one of the holes up, but at the end of the day, you're still in a ship that's not meant to sail in waters of that depth. But as we jump into the next series, is there anything in particular that you're really looking for, that you're really hoping that some of these teams will be able to change?
I feel like if you look at this Gambit team and you just look at the games that they're winning and looking incredibly good in, Lornoff on Morphling is in like every single one of them where they just look completely stunning. And I look at this guy's pubs. I watch a few of his pubs. Like, he is god tier on Morphling. It's one of those performances where it's hard to believe that he's that good on any more than at least like, or at most like 2 other heroes, because he's that good. We saw the Dark Willow plus Morphling combo. He was like dodging in and out of stuns and like, you know, morphing back and forth, like hitting the right heroes in the fights, like not getting caught by anything. Just, it's like he's got like 10,000 Morphling games or something. Just get it out, man. Like, or at least try to answer it. You know what I mean? Like, you need some sort of answer, because the Wind Ranger didn't seem like it was anywhere near enough.
No, and that's a core answer. The support answers in game number 1, like my favorite support duo in Southeast Asia is definitely on T1 with Zephyr and Whitemon, but Execration were impressing me, whereas most Southeast Asian teams are kind of carried by their cores. Execration has a surprising amount of emphasis put into their support duo, and Rubik Disruptor does not offer you anything, really.
Where's the Lion at, man? I feel like
I'm wondering.
If you pick this Lion hero, makes heroes like Puck and Morphling and Void Spirit, these like very annoying to deal with mid laners. You just completely nullify their entire existence. You always have an option for dealing with them. Doesn't matter how high skill somebody is on the hero. If you get hexed, you're just chain stun. Yeah, instant cast. Shadow Shaman was another hero I think we saw at the start of this season's DPC, where heroes like Morphling and, as I mentioned, Void Spirits, like these heroes looked really bad at the start of the DPC, and they're coming back. And I think there's no coincidence that like Morphling is looking really good now with Lion and Shadow Shaman and these instant stuns falling off.
Do you think that's why we're seeing AA first phases, because people don't want to waste a ban on Morphling? Because I don't think AA is that good of a support right now, but it answers a lot, like Io, Abaddon, Morphling.
Yeah, that's the thing. Exactly. Like, I think AA is decent. Like, the Shard is great. Having some way to clear waves and do damage. You know, I think the hero's definitely been buffed. Like, the ultimate does a ton of damage now, which is great. It's easier to hit now, which is great. But it's nothing to make the hero, like, S tier OP.
Yeah.
58% win rate in pro level pubs. I mean, that's an insane win rate, and I think it's purely because a lot of the cheese heroes, Morphling, Bristleback, Io, as you mentioned, these heroes are dealt with by AA. And so, yeah, I definitely think so. That's why this hero is highly valued by a lot of teams.
So maybe a different first phase opening from Execration. The bugs are incredibly popular, Nyx Assassin and Broodmother, but Nyx Assassin, he'll fit into any draft. You don't need to craft something specifically that makes Nyx Assassin look good. He looks good no matter what. Broodmother, on the other hand, you first phase it, all of a sudden every single one of your picks on your team needs to be engineered to enable it, make sure that you can play a Broodmother game. I know we all know about Alchemist games, but there are such things as Broodmother games as well.
When there's a brood in the game, it's a Broodmother.
It's just that simple.
Yeah. I've learned a lot from Senpai Sind, but I definitely think a lot of the things that you said about the brood, both of you, very much going to be true, and we heard it echoed from all the casters as well, just the fact that Broodmother falls off, right? Now, when we get into this next game, we've talked about some of the strengths of Gambit, we talked about some of the strengths of Execration, but we should talk about what the stakes actually are as well, as we're starting to get close to the end of our first day here of Wildcard. We're about to get to, when we finish today, we'll be at the halfway point for Wildcard. It's going to take us 2 days to cover everything. Have there been any big surprises for you so far, Tsunami?
Yeah, I don't know if they can hear it in the distance on stream B, but you can hear Capitalist losing his mind over a Vici secret game right now. China's not looking as unstoppable as I would have been led to believe. It was my region I covered. I went to bat for them. They're looking good. They're not just looking like overwhelmingly dominant, though. And so I'd say that's my biggest surprise so far, is China's looking mortal.
Secret one, that for anyone who didn't get to see, production did just inform me of that. But yeah, I honestly, I feel like anytime we come into an event like this and all of the folks are completely like, okay, yeah, it's all about China, this is the reason to watch, that region never overperforms.
Hence Europe at Singapore.
I wonder what that is. I've always wondered what it is. I don't think that we'll ever be able to just find the answer straight up. But do you think a lot of it is when there is a region that seems to be that good that it just gets answered? Like there's just that much more focus on those teams?
I think with China, TGov actually had a really interesting theory on that. He said something along the lines of, I think it was Tiga. Maybe I'm just quoting somebody else, and they're going to be very mad at me.
It was probably me.
Maybe it was you. Yeah, it was very intelligent, so maybe it wasn't Tiga. But
probably sinned if it was really
probably sinned, yeah. But they were saying that China has this like infrastructure. They play on a lot of lands all the time.
DPC
right?
was played on land.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't see that in the other regions. And so when they come to something like this, it's like, sure, maybe they don't overperform because they're just not that hyped up to play. It's not a different environment from what they're used to, which depending on how the other teams are doing, that's either a weakness or it's a strength, right? Like if everybody is playing lower because of the crowd and because of the cameras and the lights and being surrounded by people and the crazy COVID restrictions and all of this stuff that's like a lot, you know, like maybe China is just like, yeah, this is how it is. Like this is, you know, and so they perform it the same and then everybody else goes down, or maybe some teams go up, like OB Neon in the previous major, like Gambit, I think they've got this like what I would describe as like this motivation from being like they have the underdog motivation, right? So maybe they go up, but only because they're in such a weird situation. Maybe a team like Secret goes down.
So you think it's a consistency thing?
I think so.
China might just be in an area where practice how you play. They're constantly practicing and playing in the same environment. They feel very much at home. They're just coming out and they're giving you the same performance every single time. Definitely sense. An interesting thing to think about, because that's more similar to the environment that most teams have to perform in now with the new format, right? When you all of a sudden have games where you're not going to be as hyped up because all of a sudden it's league play. It's harder to figure out what those stakes actually are. You got to show up. You have to play no matter what. And sometimes I feel like the teams, you know, they can't get that I'm trying to even think what it is, but the wind in their sails,
the adrenaline.
Like, wow, I'm at an event. They can't necessarily get it for league play, and I think that's why we find some of the teams in the situations that they're in right now.
And China could just be fatigued also, because in addition to playing the DPC on LAN, they have iLeague going on concurrently with all their DPC seasons. So like they're doing their league play, and then they're also doing other LANs in between. And we, on the DPC coverage, generally don't put too much stake in iLeague performances. Like random teams will be winning with off-meta heroes. It seems like iLeague is more experimentation, but 5 months of back-to-back play can be grueling. And all of the Chinese teams that showed up in Season 1 and Major 1 did the same in Season 2 and Major 2, which is also true for Europe. So I imagine all these top regions are feeling a little bit winded after all this, but Gambit didn't really do that well in Singapore, and now they have 2 different players. Execration didn't even show up at Singapore, so they're happy to be playing international opponents. It's a change of pace for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. A lot to prove indeed. And Gambit, I mean, you talk about some of these teams being winded. You do almost feel like that's kind of the reps in the gym that you need to be the boss of the gym when you show up to something like this. Because this is a day where you are very much going to be put to the test, just back to back to back to back to back games. And then you got to wake up the next day and you got to do it again. So I feel like some of these squads that are used to that environment do have the upper hand here. But Gambit very quickly has proven that they have the mental strength that you need to bounce back from a crushing defeat.
Yeah, I mean, these playoff jabronis, they don't necessarily win just because they get the double elimination all the way up in the upper bracket. We saw in Singapore, sometimes you just bomb out 2 series back-to-back. You don't get that practice of wildcard where you get to play 10 different games. You're just cruising along, you're waiting, you're keeping your eye on it, and then you show up, first game, everyone's been playing like 10 games before you lose, then you're like, oh god, we have like no time to experiment. We have no time to find out our team chemistry. So
yeah, you have no time to really mentally wrestle with those ideas to figure out what does work best for you. But we're going to be jumping into the draft right now. We'll have to see what ideas they can actually pull out of their minds here. And we already talked about some of the things that, you know, we didn't love in the openers, Jenkins. So for anybody who's just tuning in right now, what are some of the things that you want to see change in these early picks?
I think if you are going to be picking the Broodmother first phase, this is a hero where it's like there's a lot of mixed opinions on this back in the green room. It's like some people are like, oh, Broodmother is better with the right-click build. That was Lacoste that said that, actually.
Yeah, Lacoste.
You say that Broodmother's better with this pipe build. People are saying Broodmother falls off. Broodmother's been figured out. I actually disagree with you on that, but it's funny because like it's just one of these heroes that it's so polarizing right now, and so I think that one thing that's worth talking about is just that the draft was kind of just jacked from Team Secret. I mean, there's no coincidence that they just picked the exact same draft, and maybe later on when they pick different heroes and the Ursa, for example, not getting picked up. I think that's an important element to it, where if you're playing this Radiant Broodmother, you want to take over the enemy jungle, you have to have some way of taking Roshan. That seems to be a big portion to what made that work for Team Secret. So I think basically what I'm saying is if you pick Broodmother, have something that you're trying to accomplish with this hero's early game lead that it's going to get. Have some reason that you care about taking that tier 2 and taking over the enemy jungle. I would also say banning out the Morphling is not okay. They ban out the Brood. I see. They just get it out. I think that's smart.
How often do you think just doing the old copy pasta on another team's draft after you've seen it work against a squad actually bears fruit?
Well, like Jenkins said, the important part of the copy pasta with the Broodmother strat that Secret ran is they had an Ursa. And in this game, Execration, or in game 1, Execration had a Phantom Lancer. Those are two wildly different heroes.
Different,
So once upon a time, Broodmother's claim to fame was like, I'm going to make an ocean of space for my one position. I'm going to constantly be bringing heroes to my lane. I'm going to make the enemy team have to spend so much time trying to deal with me that my carry is just going to sit back and relax. Not really the case anymore. Now you want a carry to be all like, okay, good, you've made like 15 minutes of space for me, and you've built like a Solar Crest or Pipe or something to keep me alive. Now I'm going to go to your lane and we're going to kill everyone
then
together.
you play with the Brood, exactly, which a PL doesn't exactly want that. It's different, and I don't blame them for not understanding that. It's really hard to break down and understand this hero. It feels completely different than the previous Broodmother. It's like we've talked about, every single counter that deals with the hero, Broodmother also deals with in some specific way. She has way different timings than before, and so I understand. It's funny, like Gambit just beat Broodmother, and still they say like, all right, we're so done with this hero. Just like get it out. We're sick of dealing with it, because it's the only thing that makes them look awful, other than Nigma, of course.
It is one of those things, though, when sometimes you go to copy pasta the draft, and it's the same as you're sitting there trying to spam something, and you accidentally go a little bit too far. Yeah, you get the username.
Don't include the username.
You don't include the username when you do the copy pasta.
This secret.puppy, Broodmother, and they were like, whoops.
Yep.
Try to do some backspaces, accidentally type in Phantom Lancer instead.
Can't delete the message.
Can't delete it.
It goes a little bit too far.
Just embarrassing. You just embarrass yourself in a public
really
forum,
yep.
Such as Twitch chat. Just
not familiar with the experience.
Yeah.
Wow.
Leshrac on the other hand.
Leshrac is
all right.
Chad in that
He's ripped.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's go. This disco pony's been hitting the gym.
I mean,
hello, Leshrac.
Come on, those are why are his abs here? Like, how small is his torso?
He has
I'm
a
very
10
confused.
pack. It goes all the way up to his
No, that's
pecs.
not a Chad. I don't believe this. You can't call that a Chad. This guy's got a torso that's like 2 feet.
He's got like
this is not normal.
The Chetcha Betcha chin, though.
This is like he got his ribs removed. Who's that?
That was Fairly Odd Parents. I don't know where that came from. Yeah.
I thought you meant Crimson Shin.
No, Chetcha Betcha.
Oh yeah, he's the. Well, there's the Crimson Chin.
Yeah.
He's the evil guy, isn't he? Or the superhero?
Oh, yeah. No, Crimson Shin's. Wait, is that like his
You're
alter
thinking
ego?
of the cool guy.
Chetcha Betcha.
He's the cool guy, right?
Oh, that's Chetcha Betcha. I didn't mean Chetcha Betcha. I did mean the Crimson Shin.
Okay.
Another failed copy pasta. What a rough day.
Not having a good day. It's been a long for you. It's been a while since you've been in the hosting saddle. It's okay.
Man, Chetcha Betcha just flew right out of my mouth. I was so sure about it. Speaking of being sure, how sure do you think they are about the Ench here? Very different start to their draft on the side of Gambit.
I think they would have been sure about it if they were going to pick a Darkseer afterwards, but instead they pick up a Timbersaw into a Nyx Assassin. I thought Nyx Assassin loves playing against Timbersaw.
Yeah, Timber, very small mana pool.
Yeah.
But he does indeed like to use that mana, which, so the Nyx Assassin preventing that and also having a very easy Spike Carapace. Every single one of Timbersaw's abilities is AoE, so that helps.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy to stun him. And unfortunately, for Timber, there's no break anymore. That was when Nyx really dealt with Timber, when you could actually break him. But the Leshrac, there are 2 heroes currently that seem like they make it so that Timber can never pop off. And that's Leshrac and Batrider. And every single time this Timber gets picked in first phase, you see the immediate Leshrac ban and then Batrider ban in the second phase, because there's so many damn bans in that second phase. And so I like this. I like to see teams just, all right, you know what, maybe if this is a bad Lesh game, we'll like throw it off lane or whatever, but at least we're guaranteeing that also the Timber is going to have a bad game.
So
or not good.
Bad I can understand, because Sticky Napalm and Firefly in lane is probably a huge pain in the ass for Timbersaw.
Yep.
Why Leshrac?
It's the same thing, except when you get level 6. Like, what you
That's
basically
the
do...
Pulse Nova?
Yeah, Pulse Nova. You just have some carry laying against the Timber that's fine. Like, any carry's going to be fine against Timber until Timber's level 6.
Sure.
But becomes a problem. Well, guess who also becomes a problem level 6? Leshrac.
Okay.
So same thing. You have that timing where you put the Leshrac versus the Timber. And Bat Rider's kind of the same, too. Like, you don't need the Bat versus the Timber in lane. It's just once the Timber starts becoming a problem, Bat goes and deals with it. And so the Timber can never pop off. But the thing is, Timber's such a good hero because of the Ag Shard that he always is going to be relatively good. Because Flamethrower is just too OP. That's a nice Ag Shard.
And once upon a time, I would have considered Leshrac to also be a good answer for Enchantress.
True,
Enchantress
yeah.
is not
Same
really that
reason.
squishy anymore, though. She is hard to kill. I see like these Hood Enchantresses. This game, maybe even a full pipe, I would see. And with the Shard as well, I'll see like Holy Locket sometimes.
Yeah.
She takes a lot of
She can be
energy.
a bait, for sure. Like, if you're a Leshrac and you hard commit for an Ench because it's like, oh, you know, she's good against this physical damage, I'm going to go kill her.
Yeah.
Like, I'm this magic damage hero. And then all of a sudden you spend your entire mana pool and she still
Exactly.
survives at 10% HP, then you're just done. And if Lesh dies like twice in a game, he completely falls off from being that hard carry hero.
Very important to keep in mind. Potential matchup that we're going to have to keep our eyes on. But Lion, something that you guys were talking about a whole bunch. For anybody who missed that Tsunami, why were you talking about Lion so much as something that we expected to potentially
One of the
see?
main reasons won't be too relevant this game. It's the instant cast Hex. Chances are Execration are going to be sending this Leshrac mid, so rules out a possibility of a Puck or a Spirit. So that was Lion's main thing. But I think one of Lion's biggest issues back in the day is that he would kind of be a one-hit wonder in the late game. He's just kind of like a Hex, and he's like, all right, great. I'm going to sit back, wait a little bit. Finger doesn't do very much damage.
I did
now
my
he's,
job.
Yeah, I did my job. I provided instant control. Now he's getting HP from Fingers. He has a shard that gives him spell immunity.
That's
he has
a
a
dank
level
shard.
20 talent that he can drain into allies.
Yeah.
His scaling is like 1,000 times better than it used to be, and he's just a good laner.
Yeah,
overall.
he has a 1 second downtime on magic immunity.
Yeah.
Like, basically permanent magic immunity while sucking 3 people. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And actually, one of the things in the late game that I think is
Get you far.
kind of underrated is mana drain. Like, you have these heroes that become impossible to kill. Oh my god, they do so much damage in the late game. With no mana, heroes don't do anything. There's very few heroes that actually do things in the late game without mana.
And it's like a 40% slow or something like that.
Yeah, it's a good slow. It's a good slow.
really strong.
Yep.
And it's a dispel for him. He doesn't even need to channel like the full immunity. He's just like, okay, great, you slowed me, I'm going to take
That's
it
true,
off.
yeah, that is true.
So Lion, I think, is probably going to be on the come up. We saw Shaman in the first series. I think Shaman, his thing is that he can push a little bit better than Lion. Well, a lot better than Lion. But I think Lion's just more all-purpose.
Yeah, better scaling, for sure, online, I think.
And Execration, looking like they're going to lean heavy into team fight. They got
Against
a Warlock
Nyx.
Leshrac.
Wow, they go with the Storm against Nyx, so
Yeah.
I can definitely understand this hero against. You see this Warlock come out, and immediately you need a backline assassin. That's actually some language that I heard PPD use on NADBC. I thought it was awesome. Like, the difference between an initiator, who's a hero that jumps in, and then an assassin, whereas this is a hero that in the actual fight you can jump one of the backliners. So it's like an initiator, but after the fight actually starts, which is kind of cool. And okay, they just go with the instant anti-mage pick because it's super good against the Timbersaw. Because
And the Storm.
yeah, and then the Storm. So that's actually a really solid pick. But I don't know if AIM's that good of a hero in general, though, is the thing.
Yeah, and this lane's going to be kind of rough, because I guess it'll be Enchantress Timber versus an AM, so that's a lot of pure damage that
Yeah.
Counterspell's not going to help you with. No targeted spells, I guess, really. And
Yeah.
Enchant kind of counts, but not really. That's a tough lane, but it is nightmare situation for Storm Spirit, though.
It is a tough Storm game, dude. The only hero he's good against is this Warlock, because you can jump on him in the fights.
Yeah.
But Nyx, like, that's such an easy carapace. You've got the mana burn, the chain stun. Leshrac is going to take a dump on Storm in lane.
Is there anything that can be locked in as the last pick to maybe make Storm's life a little bit easier?
So Gambit are looking for their carry. It's going to be probably something early game oriented. I don't think you win the late game as Gambit against an anti-mage.
I think that would, maybe you could, like, if you go with some PA, some hero that completely obliterates the anti-mage in the late game, that could work.
PA versus Leshrac, though?
That's the thing, is like when you have the Lesh AM in the late game, like, they cover a lot of bases, at least in the late game. Like, these heroes are a little weird to pick together because they both kind of take up a lot of space in the early game. But if you do get to the late game, like, Lesh and AM carry in a totally polar opposite way. So that does suck for a PA.
So what's a dream hero in this situation then? They ban out the Jug, Terrorblade's out, Morphling's out. And then the Gambit bans.
Faceless Void is banned.
What's the ban in between AA and Faceless Void?
I think that's Tidehunter.
No, Tidehunter's to the left of Faceless Void.
I have no idea what that is. I'm gonna be totally honest
It
here.
looks like-
I think it's Ursa.
Some sort of demonic thing.
Okay, I mean, I'm down for an Ursa
Okay,
ban.
sure.
I think it's Ursa.
Okay. Execration, they need their offlaner, so hence the Viper and the Tide bans.
Is Mars banned?
Mars is still in.
Okay, Mars seems like a very obvious choice right now. It's good lockdown for the Storm.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Mars Warlock combination. Mars plus Leshrac just locking people into this pit for the Mars for the Leshrac to do a ton of damage. Like, it just seems too good. And it's some hero to go in first and get stuff done. Like, once again, we have the same issue with the draft with the Execration, is that there isn't really a hero that as soon as the game hits like 5 or 6 minutes, that's going to want to run around and fight people. So I think they absolutely need that, and they have great team fight to make space for the anti-mage if they pick something like a Mars, maybe even a Centaur. Is that in the game?
Centaur's in the game, and that was Nico's comfort. The only thing is I don't think that takes advantage of Fatal Bonds too much. It's a great initiator,
Yeah,
but like then
true.
their team fight is just Fatal Bonds and Pulse Nova.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, if we look closely at the computer, we can see what they're going to pick here.
Let's
so.
see. I know.
His feet are just straight on
He's
the
just
mouse
vibing,
pad there.
He's chilling.
His feet are on the mouse pad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really
He's
dangerous.
picking heroes with his heel.
You can accumulate fuzz on the mouse pad.
It's true.
Yeah, you have to be careful with socks
the
on the mouse
Bloodseeker,
pad.
of
Take the
course.
Bloodseeker, and you were liking Afterlife's Bloodseeker also, so this is really annoying for Timbersaw.
Yeah, it's one of these drafts on Execration where it seems like they have a lot of counters to the Gambit draft, but I think it's a little bit less well-rounded.
Yeah.
It's just counters, and
Their five
sometimes that
heroes
works.
seem a little disconnected.
Yes, I would agree with that for sure.
And now Gambit needs something to lane up against a Bloodseeker Nyx Assassin.
Carry Lifestealer.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, the Lifestealer, this is a hero to bomb with the Storm, so you were asking for something to kind of enable and play with the Storm. That's the hero. It's really good against Anti-Mage. It's good against Leshrac. It's good against Anti-Mage because you do physical damage, good against Lesh because you don't care about magical damage, but terrible versus the Bloodseeker. Then again, you can infest if you get Ruptured, so that's one of those double-edged swords where it's like you have this BKB Piercing Disable in the Rupture for the Lifestealer, but also he can infest and just walk with Rupture on, and that's fine.
What do you think Lifestealer's build is going to be this game? Because I'm seeing a lot of different Lifestealer builds. I'm seeing like early Scotty sometimes.
I would say probably he's going to go
Satanic.
probably Armlet Deso, just because how are they going to push towers if he isn't
Yeah,
the one hitting towers
exactly.
right now? And you have a Timber to tank for you, so you can actually put some tower pressure on and win the game early. And I don't think you want to go late game against Execration.
Yeah, it seems like Execration somewhat has that inevitability if they do manage to get there. So what do you think Gambit's path to victory will be here, Tsunami?
I think they're going to mow down towers. Enchantress sustain, Timbersaw just parking himself in front, Storm Spirit with that backline assassinations.
Yep.
I'm leaning towards Gambit for this game number 2.
All right,
I'm with
well,
you.
let's see if Tsunami is right. We're going to be throwing it over to the game. Let's get this one started.
So Lacoste, here we've got the Lifestealer bombs that need to hit their timings and a ticking time bomb in the Anti-Mage on the other side. Which way are you leaning for these two drafts?
I'm leaning towards, let me just check, Execration. They have Anti-Mage plus Leshrac. What I want to see from Gambit is aggressive tri-lane against AM and just leave Timbersaw alone in one of the lanes. Put some more pressure on AM. Just try to shut him down. If that doesn't happen, I'm a bit worried. They don't have any team fight whatsoever. Enchantress plus Lion, they're strong laners. They have a Timbersaw, but AM, 2 items, can easily just take over the game, especially against the Storm Spirit. Eventually, you're going to need to get a Lincoln Sphere because you might kill your own team, something that you don't want to do unless you're griefing. But
So then we're relying on these Storm Spirit timings around his items, the Lifestealer Infest bombs to try and catch out individual targets with the Lion and the help that they have there. Kind of use the Timbersaw as bait, potentially, to get themselves out of that laning
this
stage.
is a pretty popular support duo, mostly in Southeast Asia. I see that CIS also loves it with the Enchantress plus Alliance. So let me just check what they're doing. If they're planning on tri-laning Gary, or if they just want to play it normal.
We'll get ourselves into game 2 here. It's best of 2, as it looks like for now. BZZ wandering up towards top with the Lion there as well, but this is more indicative of them potentially securing those bounty runes early on, and they've left the Lifestealer alone down bottom for now.
Maybe they showed him bottom on purpose, so they think, you know, Lifestealer's bottom, no aggressive tri-lanes. I love Enchantress Lion, I love Tuscan, potentially aggressive tri-lane, so let's see what they decide to go for. Someone's drawing on a mini-map, it's brown.
And that Lifestealer is moving. Dream, like you said, made that swing from bottom lane back in towards mid. Might even consider sniping out this little bounty rune at the bottom spot. And he's waiting down there. We might get 3 for Gambit. He runs up towards RR, and Bloodright is going to zone him away. And Dream misses out on it, so just going to be the... Oh, it's not a 2 for 2. Look at that little sneak out from BDZ. Grabs the third one for Execration.
The reason why I wanted to see an aggressive tri-lane is you get your mana burn as a Timber, so then you really don't put any pressure on the AM. It's also anti-mage plus Warlock, which means that he's going to be full HP, can afford to blink in aggressively, burn your mana, and then the lane is kind of done. Of course, he's going to buy that Soul Ring. Anti-mage also, like, you burn Lion, he might get the mana drain back. Warlock starting with very interesting build, just getting the Fatal Bonds level 1. Yeah, connecting on the full creep wave and 2 heroes.
Shove the wave, try and get level 2 a bit faster, put that pressure on. Palos taking a bit of damage there from the Whirling Death level 1 out of Afterlife, as he does lose his courier in the meanwhile also. Lion has his work cut out for him, like you said, the sustain from RR's Warlock here, definitely difficult to deal with, especially when he gets that, with the points up in the Shadow Word.
He blocked the small camp, RR will be able to deward that immediately.
Very nicely done. So they'll be able to drag that wave back and reset it. Anti-Mage can get healed up when they hit level 2, which is pretty shortly. And like you mentioned, they've burnt through Afterlife's mana pool. He's got nothing left. He's half HP. So he's looking a little worse for wear up in that top lane. A good start for Execration there. We can take a peek into some of these other lanes because mid, that Storm Spirit, 10-3 up against the Leshrac, who is at 2-0 low cost.
Storm Spirit gets level 3 faster and start playing aggressively, has his bottle coming up to him, rune spawning in 15 seconds. Yaoi just needs 1 extra CS to get that bottle.
Is that what we expect though? Such a drastic difference in CS between the 2 mid laners. 7 last hits difference there. Lauren having a cracking start.
It shouldn't be that bad. It's just that Leshrac misplayed it. He gave him level 3 faster. Storm Spirit. I was focusing on top, but I can only imagine what happened. To go back to the bottom lane, talk a bit about it. BZZ finally gets a creep. Stun on a Lifestealer, gets a point in rage, something that you don't want to get early on, especially when you play against the 2 melee heroes. Yeah. BDZ did a good job blocking off the small camp with the sentry and just body blocking the big camp. So you know that I think he's going to keep doing that. Yeah. So Enchantress can get the big...
You have to. Make sure Ench doesn't get that momentum from the early laning stage. I see Storm just continuing that race forward, doubling up on the CS of the Leshrac. Water runes are coming as well, so he'll be able to refill his bottle.
Well, maybe you also need some water, Gary, huh?
Yeah, absolutely do.
Pick up that water rune.
Get the water rune, reset my throat. Down bottom. Nico being run at. Ench can't quite get the body blocks there onto the Bloodseeker, so he'll tango back up. And there's that top lane, Palos. Anti-Mage trying to get it onto Immersion. Can't stick on the target though. Just going to have to rely on that heal and sustain for the Warlock as a nice double wave comes back in towards his tower.
He has enough money to buy a ring. Courier not there, also lane pushing, so that means that he's not going to be able to get it anytime soon.
And Fatal Bonds are messing up his last hits under tower a little bit there as well, annoyingly enough for Palos. We'll see what he gets up to and where he picks up that ring of health.
Warlock has healing cell, that's what you need to have as a position 5. Just bring some regen for your carry. Lifestealer on the bottom lane. CSing nicely, 16 CS, 14 on a Bloodseeker, going Mana Boots first item. Not sure I like it. Mana Boots got a buff in terms of gold.
Yeah, it's
how much
cheaper.
you need to spend it, but Rush,
so what is it?
I don't think it's needed. You know, just bring a Mango, bring possibly a Clarity. Maybe your position 4 gets a Bassi. But
Interesting. Does that indicate he wants to go Greaves later on? Or is it going to be Arcanes into Atos? Does he
I
wanna-
don't know, Gary. I'm a bit baffled by this decision, to be honest.
Bamboozled by the mana boots. Great 2-man turnaround stun from the AM with that little counter spell there. I've got the Fatal Bonds ticking away in Afterlife and Immersion.
Oh, he's missing a lot of CS on AM. Actually didn't get any of the 3 because of the
dear.
Fatal Bonds.
Yeah, they're messing up with him.
Yeah. Collect the scoreboard, disable health from Warlock.
That's not going to work. Well, he's still up there, 23 and 5, so he's not struggling too much. He can't do that much damage back to Timber though. He's lost all his mana. Well, mid lane, Yoe trying to get on top of Lorinov. Storm Spirit still plenty of regen and HP to play around with in that mid spot.
That mana boots will give them mana. Nice.
Well, will it?
Yeah, it will. So they can spam their spells.
How surprising. And Palos picks up his Ring of Health off of that top secret shop. So he's got even more staying power in that top lane. Afterlife, obviously he's got mangoes, he's ready to fight if need be. Might pop a couple of here just to try and get that damage onto the anti-mage. And he holds out. So far, not too bad for the Timber Saw. This Lion's definitely helped him out, and they're not bleeding away any kills. That's the most important thing. No one's feeding. No one's giving anything away. And top lane, again, the counter spell back onto the Lion. Palos really is on top of that. And Warlock just going to get the pull across. Bottom lane, looks like they're trying to get in towards that Nyx Assassin and the Bloodseeker. Dream. And just going to whack out Nico, get him away from that lane. Got a Harpy there for the BZZ Enchantress. And like you've been saying, they've been blocking up these caps. There's Storm Spirit. He's hit level 6 and goes onto your way, but the TP rotation arriving now from the Warlock. The stick, the turnaround.
Available. That's going to be a return kill.
He's got the Ball Lightning, but not enough mana to get the distance. The Pulse Nova and First Blood grabbed up by your Leshrac.
Warlock is not even needed. All he needed to do is pop a stick, a bottle, Fairy Fire, not even used. Like, he's not respecting the damage coming out from Leshrac. Leshrac is one of the heroes that got insane buffs over the couple of patches where his alt AoE is 500. It's like attacking people pretty much, so you can run them down. Before, I believe it was like 350. You need to be on top of him.
Now it's real nice. They're trying to stay around that mid lane. They brought Dream in here to defend the tower against the Lesh with that Diabolic Edict. So a movement which they felt was necessary as Gambit ditched the bot lane.
They just needed to bring someone. Timbersaw does not have enough mana. Maybe if he pops a Mango, can rotate to the mid lane. This leaves Enchantress on the bottom to collect some of the XP.
And now Dream's got that long walk back down towards bottom lane. At least he's got the phase boot, so he will wobble himself down back to that tier 1 area. And Yoe, level 7.5 almost, that Lash back to Fountain. Could think and consider about his first rotation, or the stacks we see there on our screen could come and clear through them as RR has built up beautiful bank in that dire jungle and gets a D-ward.
Oh, that rotation from Yoe got scouted. Timbersaw popping the Mango. He needs another one. Oh, gets burned.
There's the mana burn and the Void. Nice stun from Yoe as well, clear through Afterlife, while Storm Spirit is stealing a couple of those stacks that the Warlock had been picking up.
That was very costly that he popped 2 mangoes, died, and now Leshrac can go for a rune, can try to invade enemy triangle, see if there are any stacks there. Also, free bounty, why not take it?
Oh, thank you very much. And this is very scary, right? We were talking about how the late game, the panel was mentioning this Execration side dragging the game out, look incredibly good with this AM, the Nyx, the Leshrac up against this Radiant team.
Oh, Voronov does not find the rune.
Oh,
yeah,
sad.
Go back to your talk, Gary. I'll answer the question.
Nico, he's TPing home. Yeah, when does Gambit really want to try and hit their stride? Is it around a Storm item timing, the Armlet Lifestealer? What's the game plan?
Problem is Timber is getting shut down. He's not gonna feel comfortable playing into Lash because it's mixed damage. It's mixed magical and physical damage.
Yeah.
2 supports, they're really not that good at rotating. Lion is okay-ish, but Enchantress mostly focusing on the laning stage. Storm Spirit always gonna need to be careful. 1 rotation from Anti-Mage. Bam. Mana Void, you can kill him, +1 extra hero. Potentially need to be very careful about it. Nico on the bottom lane after finishing the Mana Boots, going into Road of Aethos against Storm Spirit, against Timbersaw. That's just going to be a really, really good item. Something that we don't see. Teams taking the safe lane tower.
Oh, Storm! He's been found out! BDZ sets it up, he's not even level 6 yet, just double stun under that vision. The Dire Ward scouts the Storm as he was trying to farm, and they've shut him down tremendously. At least Afterlife is going to be able to claim a tower up top as well, so structures, they're starting to fall here.
They got 2 towers, so at least that's something good going for them.
Little by little, they can build up some kind of net worth for themselves. And Lifesteal is going to have a pretty good timing on his item build anyway. Armlet potentially back into a bit more damage. The S&Y could be coming out for him. As Emergent.
AniMajor can't farm the jungle. The jungle is stacked, so he can't clear those camps. Needs to be in the lane. Lashrak, one of the better heroes to just overall clear creeps around the outpost. I think that needs to be fixed in the next patch, where Dire has a much bigger advantage in terms of that. Like, you can farm those 2 camps easily, and exactly what Lashrak does.
Yeah.
He's there and we'll farm it.
The proximity of those camps. So nice for Medusa, for Lashrak, for Gyro, all these heroes. Clear through them at ease, and that's going to put him over 5,000 net worth, like 5.2k. So he's going to be sitting on that Yule Scepter now, 10 minutes in. He'll have it about 10:30. And this is a good time for him to go and smoke around with the Nyx Assassin, who's also hit level 6. So he'll have Vendetta to scout, start things off, and Yoei can look for these early pickoffs. And Storm Spirit is an ideal candidate to go and grab because, like we've been saying, they need the Storm Lifestealer to get the ball rolling. As Emergent, he'll chain stun the Lashrak, but he's going to get found here by the AM and the Nyx Assassin. Lion will hand over his life to Palos. Ooh,
And they want to give
Assassin.
kill to Palos, but it's going to take away what? He's going to live.
Lion's going to juke away from this one. I mean, BDZ, there's the stun, takes the kill away from AM, but a bit of miscommunication coming through from Execration, maybe. And this allows a bit of time now for Gambit to get into mid lane. Catapult wave, shove into the tier 1. And Nico forced to stand his ground and defend it. A wrap around from Yoei though. Lorinov can ball lightning. He doesn't get it off in time. Yule's in a split earth. They're going to catch the Storm Spirit out with a chain stuns, perfectly timed. And Lorinov, it felt like he should have seen that one coming.
He faked Warlock ulti just to show that they're not there. We're not trying to kill you. And they actually do it. Now, Yule Scepter done on Lashrak. Storm Spirit, he's not going to have a game.
No.
I see his item build. He decided to go for Kaya, thinking about a BKB.
Oh.
No matter what you get at this point, like, it's just not going to feel good. You need something that gives you mana. I wouldn't mind the Orchid Rush into BKB. Into Linken's possibly, but you know, this is something that he can only dream of in this game because things are really not going well for him.
It's one of those difficult spots where you commit to the treads and you're thinking, wait, if I'd not gone treads and Orchid rushed, maybe I would be in a better position.
It's just too many counters. He had a good start. Now Lashrak rushing that Yule Scepter. Great setup for either him or Nyx Assassin playing into AM, who has Battle Fury finished. 12 minutes in, no boots, has a band of Elven skin, so pretty damn good timing.
Yeah, and we're looking at these towers fall. You know, you mentioned the 2 side lanes going down early. Lauren off bottom, turnaround stun with a Finger of Death and Yoei. Destroyed by Immersion, baiting out the Lorinov Storm and guarding him with his life. But in come the Fatal Bonds and the Golem. Great rock dropped onto the Storm Spirit. He's silenced up as well, so he's going to get taken down by the Bloodseeker. RR picks up the final touch as Immersion under this tower. He's ruptured up, and the Golem just whacks him into the ground. It's a double for the Warlock.
Unfortunately for them, Lashrak died, but they got a clean-up crew. Afterlife. There should be a good kill on Warlock.
He wants RR, but it's a carapace from BDZ and the stun out. I'll hold that Timbersaw back. Yeah, the fact that this Storm Spirit now is being dumpstered pretty hard by Execration means you're going to be missing out on those Lifestealer Infest bombs. Timbersaw didn't have a terrific start to his game, so he's not applying that same amount of pressure out on the map as a target for them to go on. And AM, he's freely farming.
Execration draft is well-rounded. They have good early game. They have counters to the enemy heroes. You're never going to feel comfortable against Rupture. As a Lifestealer, as a Timbersaw, you have this mixed damage coming up from left.
Oh, no. See ya. BZZ shredded. Half a second.
Second kill still. It's not like I'm counting, but, you know, this is the second one that I noticed.
What's his item going to be then? If he's grabbed up a couple of kills, what's he buying on that next assassin?
I see a Yule Scepter queued up. Already has that staff. I also wouldn't mind seeing a Force Staff, just to be able to push people out of the trouble. You get the value out of it, especially against the Lifestealer, Storm Spirit Jump. Kaya done on Storm, going into BKB, definitely needs a defensive item. Like, if he... They don't have the best Roche-taking lineup, so he can't get away with that. You know, maybe pick up the Aegis, then go for a different item build. It's just not going to happen this game.
It's very much a right here, right now. We need to start transitioning ourselves into team fight shape.
Infest Bomb available if they want to go for it, but I feel like teams and players got better at using Infest. It's not all about that bomb, it's more about the save that you get from the Infest.
Oh yeah, using it in a team fight. We saw it in that series where now RTW was jumping into Kuroki's Ancient Apparition to save him from any ganks. Radiant's scanning, but it's just on the very edge of AniMajor where he was farming, and he's cleared the triangle. So he gets away from immersion, makes sure that there's no jump onto the AM.
You have a win condition for Execration. You don't need to go greedy with the items. Leshrac not going Boots of Travel, which I really like. Just wants to be able to fight with the team. Sanj, like Kaya Sanj is okay. So BKB is also okay. I prefer Kaya and Sanj in this situation. But yeah, Boots of Travel would be relatively greedy considering you have AM in the team. So you got that covered. You also have a relatively good scaling hero coming out from the offlane with the Bloodseeker.
And you've got to know that the way back into this from Gambit is with those Lifestealer bombs, so if you play as 5, you're not susceptible to being jumped. Group up together and stick and play together around that top tier 1. It should be a simple, systematic maneuver here from Execration, and that's how they've got to play. No need to be rushing around doing anything crazy, just play your heroes, cast your spells, move around the map as a solid unit, and force Gambit to be the ones to react to you.
AniMajor going for Manta style. I would prefer if this is SNY more than Manta. I've seen that quite often.
Okay.
Follows. Because he has nothing to dispel.
They make the jump. Oh, that's a nice blow up on the next assassin. BZZ. There's BZZ and BDZ, right? They're grabbing all the kills. And Chantress and Nyx getting themselves up on the board.
We'll see what AM decides to go for, because there's nothing to dispel. Like, he can't really dispel a single thing. Doesn't care too much about the Enchantress. It's all about that status resistance when you're playing against land. Manta gives you more kill potential. You blink on someone, Manta style, burn mana faster. We'll just see what he decides to go for.
Lion. He's dropped. Yoey, that Leshrac just outputs so much damage.
Yoey has been, I think, the
shining star.
Shining star pretty much in the Season 2. For Southeast Asia region. For Season 1, it was Yopaj, and Yoey, he is just doing a lot of things in this game. After horrible start, you said Storm Spirit had double his CS.
Yeah.
And now he's back in the action. He's sitting at 1,500 gold on top of him.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Nice little lead down to catch onto mid lane. Afterlife going to try and chain away. I couldn't finish him off through that hood, and the plate mail is grabbed up, so a tanky Timbersaw now. And we're also seeing this Bloodseeker. Oh, Palos. The Storm Spirit's on the AM. We're used to seeing the AM killing off the Storm, but he's now running out of mana on Lorenoff. The double damage rune's still going. And no real follow-through for him.
He should be careful. A couple of right clicks plus ulti could make a big play, turnaround play.
Well, yeah, this Bloodseeker, what is he going? Like Arcane Boots, Hood into Rod of Aetos. He's going full utility on this Bloodseeker. So he's going to have the catch onto the Storm, which they might be lacking a little bit outside of the Lesh Yules and that Nyx Assassin catch you were mentioning.
You still never feel comfortable playing into AM. Your mana is gone. If he doesn't die, can easily just blink in and get the big mana void. Decides to go for the Manta style in the end.
I'm a big fan of Warlock saving 2,000 gold as well. He's got
Hand of Midas. Gary, is it time?
That's what I was wondering, man. I was looking at him thinking, oh, I know this situation all too well. Warlock, one of my favorite heroes.
I've been here multiple times.
Like Solar Guys, do we need Solar Crest? I don't really want to Solar Crest my AniMajor. I want Hand of Midas.
But what if you get Hand of Midas into Solar Crest? You get it not faster, but then you get like another item.
The acceleration is there. I might even be thinking about like Midas into the Aghanim Shard. Get that nice Shadow Word going. And the Shadow Word talent's real nice as well. So much heal and sustain from your Warlock. As Execration take the bottom portion of the map now, jungle all controlled up, even scanning Roshan to make sure that Gambit aren't sneaking into that pit for an Aegis. It's a pretty balanced, even game though, 8 kill difference, but Gambit are keeping competitive in terms of net worth. Lifesteal is up there, nearly at the AniMajor's level, and they do move into Roche after the scan was used. So maybe unexpected here, as Execration completely out of position and no way for them to really contest this.
They don't know this is happening at the moment, so it's gonna be good. Storm Spirit needs to get it. Storm Spirit needs to pick it up. The best Aegis carrier in the game.
Give that to Lorenoff, absolutely. BZZ going to move out of the pit, see if he can spot anyone coming, but no. Execration unaware of that Aegis being taken, and now it is dead even in terms of net worth, but Aegis advantage for Gambit.
Gary, I know these mid players. Do you think he's gonna switch to Kaya Sanj? Because he is holding on to Aegis. Just simple.
On the Storm?
On the Storm. Simple yes or no.
What about Bloodstone?
No. He needs to upgrade the Ogre, actually.
Oh,
It's
I see, sorry.
BKB or Kaya Sanj.
No, he's going to go BKB. I trust Laura enough to make the rational decision.
That's rational, but knowing Dota players, I think he might go for it. Let's see if he gets a kill.
It looks like he will be able to grab Nico there, and the golem dropped on their heads, though, but the Finger of Death finishes off the Bloodseeker as the AM jumps in, takes out the Aegis immediately. Dream in a spot of bother now, turns onto Yoei. They've got a lot of damage, the physical shred through. Lashrak down and out, as Storm Spirit will ball lightning off to the side towards Warlock, but Gambit able to reset here potentially, but under the stun, Blood right, get the Dream Lifestealer, catch him with Palos, Anti-Mage clears through him, but Storm makes the secondary jump. Nice heal to Stain coming through for the AM as Afterlife holds his ground, and Nico, let's see if we can chase this one. He misses out the Timber Chain. AM wants back in. They'll find their 4th kill. It's actually a 5-man wipe, including that Aegis, as Execration needed 2 heroes and 1 buyback.
Like, imagine if Flashrack used his abilities in that fight with the Fatal Bonds. Storm Spirit just dies immediately, and you lost the Aegis. You can't afford to get Kaya and Sanj. You need to get that BKB.
Yeah, absolutely. Desperate need of that BKB. And what was that? A buyback from Bloodseeker. Lesh died, but you get 4 kills plus the Aegis. So yeah, 5 kills all in all. And Gambit, once again on the back foot, forced to retreat to their side of the map. And Storm Spirit hiding in the trees as Execration close in around Lorenoff. Oh, BDZ, Yoei, onto the tier 1 tower. Let's see if they can spot out the Storm or any of these other Radiant heroes coming in. Storm makes a little half jump forward. BZZ front lines a little bit, but it's Execration retreating once more. Back to their triangle, gather up the safe farm on the map.
They should feel very confident going into mid and late game with their lineup. Lashrak scales well. Anti-Mage doesn't necessarily need to be strong and carry the carry matchup. They can deal with him later on. Just be able to blow up Storm Spirit and the supports, and then go back in and finish off the Lifestealer.
AM gets complete free time down bottom now. Basher done. There's no real great way to catch him right now. And Lifesteal is coming down here to take out an Observer Ward, clear out the remnants of that lane remaining. And Radiant do catch a glimpse of someone with their scan around the Arcane Rune top. BZZ attempts to deny, but BDZ is there to grab it.
I gotta be careful with the Bs and the Ds.
I do. Bs and Zs everywhere. Oh, kills off a neutral creep. Nice little vendetta.
And just in general, we gotta take
save the Bs.
Yeah, exactly. Not necessarily Gary B, but the important Bs.
The important
Gary.
Bs. Well, I don't make any honey, do I? So I'm absolutely useless. Save the bees. Something I've been watching a lot of is the people that go around like taking a swarm of bees, putting it into a new home, finding the queen, gathering them up. It's very therapeutic.
And, like, that's all cool unless you're allergic to bees.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, no.
Don't get stung. That's some nasty stuff.
AM.
Wasps,
Basher.
on the other hand, not a fan of them.
Not a fan.
They're not bees.
They're really not contributing anything
to society whatsoever. Evil little things. Well, there's the tower. 3rd time lucky. Execration take that tier 1 top. And they are playing very patiently. Again, it's just that group up, stay together, make sure that no one is an obvious target for the Storm Infest bombs, and it forces Gambit to go out hunting and looking for a big team fight. There's a lot of scribbling on the map there, Lacoste. It feels like they're a little bit confused about where they want to go.
Very artistic team overall. Just, you know, while they're playing Dota, they're drawing some stuff on the minimap.
A bit of cubism, a little bit of impressionism going. Got our very own Picassos here on Gambit. BDZ Vendetta, so he'll be able to scout any smokes coming from the right-hand side. And Execration playing the fog and the tree lines. This is a nice little spread. High ground ward, the Tinker ward on the left side. And BDZ, he'll see Afterlife. Doesn't want to really kick things off on the Timber Saw. And Leshrac, the turnaround, they blow through Afterlife almost immediately. Nice Yules up as well as Laurenov's BKB spent into the Golem. They get the big stun in. They'll take him down. Oh, it's a beautiful catch onto Dream as well. The Lifestealer and Timber Saw shredded in an instant. And Yoe still alive. They save the Leshrac, keep that magical damage going. A triple kill into that final touch onto Storm Spirit, and Gambit left without a hope or a prayer.
Big play from Yoe. He is waiting. He gets a stun on Timbersaw.
There's a 5-man. They're going to wipe them off the face of the map. Another drop from Yoe comes through again.
That's another one. Yeah, he's holding on to Yule Scepter. Storm Spirit tries to jump him, understand that he is going for him. Yule Scepter, while Pulse Noah plus Edict is running. He needs to back off while still healing the damage, and this should be a free tier.
Tempo.
Exactly, and then you kind of lost the momentum, didn't get too much out of the laning stage. Now you're...
And what's the win percentage graph like? What's the number? You don't...
It's 90%. I'm making it up right now, but I'm always close, you know.
You are always close. About 10% chance for Gambit. That's what you're giving them. Oh, hello. Oh, BDZ under a sentry. Dream not going to get caught this time around. But I think you're right. The comeback potential here for Gambit is limited.
Those 10% were really generous coming out from
Oh, yeah? Is it more like 7, 6, 5%?
And I talked about rest of the team not being greedy, just getting items to fight with. Leshrac, Yule Scepter done. Going into Kaya Sanj, getting a BKB. No Boots of Travel.
Oh, yeah.
I think most of the players would still want to get Boots of Travel, but since you have AM in the team, there's really no need for it.
Oh, the chain stuns. Fatal Bonds. The death of Afterlife yet again. That's a dieback on him as Laurenov, he makes the jump towards BDZ, but they can't get a single pick off. A nice 2-man stun there and a Finger of Death. Finally the Lion gets involved, but Dream.
That's a DD.
He's stuck over here with the jump from Palos. That's it. Gambit are done for. A double for Palos. BDZ's hidden invis under the Glimmer Cape. We're going to sprite off to the right-hand side, but the AM tracks back, has the Enchantress's number, gives her a little ring and says, oh, come on then. The double damage with the first hit bash. Of course he does. Makes the jump again, and another Glimmer not going to work out. As BZZ down and Laurenov the last hero standing for Gambit.
I would not be surprised if they call GG once they lose like Roshan fight, which could potentially be up in the 20 seconds. They just cannot fight. Storm Spirit goes in, Kaya, Black King Bar is down to 7 seconds, you lose mana, potentially mana void target, Timbersaw never gonna feel comfortable playing into Timbersaw, Nyx Assassin, a lot of ways to stun people.
Well, looks like we're having a tiny problem. Try and get ourselves back into the game and figure out exactly what's going on. But yeah, at this point, it really does feel like Execration. They've really nailed this one. They've got the last little nail in the coffin.
They really got a better draft overall. Like they played the lanes well. AM pick was really good in terms of like securing the farm with the Warlock and just setting him up for a really good game. It was a 12-minute Battle Fury. We're going to come back into the game.
Oh, Lauren's dead.
Lauren's dead again.
Yeah, I mean, has he got buyback? There's no buyback there for 45 seconds, so there's no Storm Spirit. BCC's trying to Glimmer. Great stun again from the Lion, but we just haven't seen much from this Lion aggressively. It's always been counter-initiation, reacting to what Execration have been bringing. And now you've got this Warlock with the Aghanim Shard, Shadow Word cooldown talent picked up as well. So he's going to be keeping that push and sustain going down into that Radiant base from the mid lane and the top lane as creeps are converging towards Gambit's side of the map.
Roshan is up. That means, well, it's not showing on my screen, but Roshan should be up. It's just not there. It's not in the pit. Knock, who's there? He's not at home.
Well, it happens sometimes if you disconnect and the timer not quite working properly. We'll see when he respawns with a little white dot in the mini map. This is prime position though for Execration. Hold the triangle. Make sure that the space is limited for Gambit. Cut out the waves.
I think Roshan needs some justice. We always kill Roshan. We never ask, like, how's Roshan? Is he doing okay?
We used to give him a party hat and a Santa hat. Also, jump in from Lorinov. Alright. The snipe will get. There's the Hex coming through onto the Bloodseeker 2. The chain stuns onto him, but they turn back with the AM. Parlos is cruising through these heroes, and the perfect stun setup gives him a double kill. Afterlife is next. Dream is going to be dealt with pretty quickly by Parlos. A triple for your AM, and GG is called. Just like you said, it was coming after maybe one more fight, and the AM's turn to get an ultra kill.
They know they have no damage whatsoever. AniMajor got way too big. Mixed damage coming up from Leshrac. Deals well with pretty much everyone on their side. Lifesteal never going to feel comfortable just getting on top of him because of the Edict. Storm Spirit, you know, this time around, even after having a really good start first 5 minutes, couldn't really deliver. Tough game for him. You know, that Yule Scepter, a lot of stacks. That's one way how they managed to make a comeback into this game, because Warlock was doing so much in the lane, enabling AM and also stacking those jungle camps for him. He gets a Yule Scepter, one big kill, and suddenly Storm Spirit just doesn't feel as a hero anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can hear from the panel on exactly what we're going to be doing. We've got a couple of seconds here before they're ready. But I think you're right. Also, the fact that any pair of heroes there from Execration was able to move out on the map, like the next Lashrak, I think is the ideal pairing that just hunted for kills. The 10-minute Yule Scepter was coming out pretty quickly from him.
It's something that we've seen a lot, at least the regions that I've been covering. It's a strong opener because you're protecting your Leshrac with the Nyx Assassin, one of the best, if not the best Lesh counter
drafting-wise as well.
Yeah, so you open up with these two, and then you feel very comfortable just playing Lesh. Feels really good.
Yeah, and a free game for that AM. I mean, you were talking about the tri-lane. Do you think there's any reasons why they didn't really want to do that around the Lifestealer?
I think this is something that maybe they should reconsider in a situation like this, because you put some more pressure on AM. You're setting up your Timbersaw for a really good game. His mana's not going to get burned, so he will be able to pop off, potentially rotate like 7 to 10 minutes in. You can swap the lanes, have that Timbersaw go top with the level 6, level 7, threaten a kill on AM, but yeah, didn't happen.
Well, it's time for Rich and the boys to break the rest of it down.
All right, well, let's break that one down. Let's just start from the beginning. I think we're going to have some of the key moments from that game up on the screen, Jenkins, so we can actually start to take a look. But what are your big takeaways from that game?
Big takeaways from that game, honestly, the biggest thing is the fact that we talked about the late game and how if Execration did go late with this AM Lesh, that they would basically have all the answers, like especially the AM. I mean, that looks so good just against the Storm. Like, there's nothing that he can really do. Just mana void, full mana, kill 3 heroes or something, which is the AoE damage. Even against the Lifestealer, AniMajor with an item advantage looks amazing because you just jump away from him, and then you have like Butterfly, things like that to deal with the physical damage. But then the early game, like this Leshrac having such a strong game, there's no chance for this Lifestealer Storm combo to come online at all because the Storm just had absolutely no game.
Yeah, Timbersaw was able to create like a fair amount of space, but no one really cared about dealing with him. He took the top tier 1 tower, and Execration were like, yeah, that's cool. You're not really important right now. We're mainly worried about shutting down the Storm Spirit, and AniMajor was more than willing to participate in fights very early on. Like, this AM was spending more time in the Radiant jungle than his own jungle, I'm pretty sure. And then they would just leave Timbersaw for the end, and then, oh, no, now what? That's what happens.
Right, that's, anytime you have these mana drain heroes, like, that's what you can do to Timber, is you just drain his mana, and then, like, what is he going to do? Cast 1 Chakram on you? It's going to do no damage. So, yeah, you just kill everybody else.
I'm actually surprised that we don't see Nyx Assassin plus AM more frequently. I think that if you have like a normal traditional lane support, like Warlock for AniMajor, then you don't really need to jump in as the AM yourself and start getting mana breaks to get a good mana void. You just let Nyx soften up these high-end targets and then pop in at the end, pop them.
Yeah. I mean, what we're seeing here, like, this is every fight. Every single fight is just... It's just AniMajor mana voiding the Storm. There's nothing happening here. It's literally just the fight going, Stormer's pressing spells, everybody's pressing spells, AniMajor comes in and kills everybody. That's the thing, is like, Gambit didn't have any time to actually play Dota because the mid lane went so horribly, and it was mostly because of the rotations from the Nyx and the Warlock coming in, helping out the Leshrac, as well as the Leshrac just like completely outskilling and beating Lorne off in the mid lane. He was like 2-7 at the end of the game.
Yeah.
It was not a strong showing from him compared to like when we see him on his Morphling. And so that's the thing, is like that the game looked even in terms of the gold advantage for the whole game.
Kill score was like 10 Execration to 1 Gambit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, is like the game is not supposed to be even at that point.
Yeah.
It's this early game that you have the better lanes, you have the better heroes for being active, and just because of outskilling happening, it's like the only place that you could win the game, you don't, and then you get to the late game, and AniMajor makes everybody look pathetic because that's what the heroes picked for in the draft.
You just get to that inevitability quicker, easier.
Yeah.
Don't have to get your
There's no
hands
way to
dirty.
win.
And I think now the main thing that I want to focus on is just where we're actually at in Wildcard in general. If we could take a look at the overall standings to start to talk about, what things actually look like, because we've gotten a look at quite a few of our teams already on this stream. I'm pretty sure we've gotten to take a look at everybody across the board. Or any teams surprising you so far, Tsunami?
It just amuses me that it's basically
One
nothing
win.
but draws.
One win. That's
There's been
insane.
one win so far, Enigma, and 1 loss from Gambit. Other than that, everyone is splitting series. Everybody's splitting series. And you're talking about inevitability. I think tiebreakers are an inevitability at this point.
Yeah, which is gonna. I don't even know, dude. If tiebreakers happen, do they happen tomorrow?
Yeah, it'll happen tomorrow because group stage is day after tomorrow. And so
Yeah. Oh my God.
last set of wildcard games will happen probably like 8 p.m. local time. And then we get to dive into tiebreakers.
I'm down, dude. I'm down for that.
Let's
That
do
sounds
it. Let's
dang.
make it happen. You were saying that Loda had a tweet that this could basically be a tournament of itself. Might as well have a tiebreaker for the tournament of itself.
So tomorrow isn't 8, it's 7. 7 best of 2s, right? Today's
Yeah,
8.
that's right.
Tomorrow's 7 best of 2s between the two streams. So we could end up having the 7 best of 2s into tiebreakers. That would be absolutely wild. Then go into groups. Imagine being the wildcard team. Like, that is just such a grueling schedule. It's definitely not going to be easy. This is a little peek, though, at the games that we're going to have on this stream tomorrow. So we're going to kick things off with Team Secret going up against Execration, and then we get a look at Invictus Gaming back-to-back, first against Vici, and then they're going to be going up against Gambit. So as you can see, that once we get that should set a wild card. But as Tsunami has mentioned, we might be getting some tiebreakers as well. We're going to be getting just a little bit more information because we got one more best of 2 coming up right now. I kind of wonder what will happen in this one. They're going to have a little bit of momentum. It's funny. The way that the splits keep happening, it's like the team that's about to play again, they end up getting the second game in the series, then they go into the next game with momentum, and you're like, okay, now they should be good to go. How do you think Execration is going to be able to do in their next game?
It's such a hard question.
Dude, I don't even have any favorites anymore in this entire tiebreaker, or in this entire wild card now. Like, I guess Nigma getting that 2-0 is a huge boon for them, because now they are first against a whole bunch of second place teams, and so there are 2 wildcard teams that make it through. They may secure their first place, and then there will be a massive tiebreaker in theory for the second place slot. So I guess Nigma is the favorite. Vici are not looking as strong as I thought before. Execration and Gambit are not looking as weak as I thought before. And Secret is looking middle of the road. Everyone's middle of the road. So how many meta things are we seeing emerging here? Any draft sort of unpredictabilities compared to the DPC season?
That also like depends on the series, you know.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
We're seeing Broodmother work for certain teams. We're seeing Broodmother not work for other teams. The Morphling's looking really great coming
True,
back.
I'll give you that one.
But then the Lion getting picked in this particular game makes me also think Morphling could go back to looking really terrible quite quickly as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it does seem like there's a lot that's viable, and I was thinking maybe the nerfs of the previous patch would change that, and that we'd get more of like there's a subset of very good heroes that people are getting picked, but it seems like the nerfs on almost everything was not enough,
Yeah.
and it still seems like everything is viable. Even the cheese heroes. I could even see some Huskar getting picked in DPC, teams were doing like Jungle Huskar. Like
So
everything is viable.
We're going to get a lot more of that very soon. And also, as Tsunami mentioned, we're starting to see maybe in the wild card already, Team Nigma starting to pull ahead, but we still do have a game underway. We're going to throw you guys over to that game, and we're going to be taking a quick break here, but we'll be back soon for that last series of the day. But until then, we'll get caught up on the other stream.
Dire's middle tower has been denied. Blades and my mind are as one. Immortality. Dire's structures are fortified. The hidden ones have blessed me. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
change of angry.
Every event is a part of esports history, full of memorable moments every fan wants to be a part of. Get your own unique piece of esports with WePlay collectibles. Here is the first collection: Storyline, Logo Token, Trophy Token, Story Token. Be sure to check all the details on our website and stay tuned for cool NFTs from WePlay Esports.
Buy the official merchandise for WePlay AniMajor 2021 now on fragstore.com. Hoodies, t-shirts, mousepads, headrest pillows, and other souvenirs were released in the limited edition for the tournament. Hurry up and buy them on fragstore.com via the link in the description or chatbot.
First day of the AniMajor here in Ukraine, and we got a little bit more work to do. It's going to be 2 days of figuring out which 2 teams are going to make it through from the wild card, and we got one more best of 2 right here on this stream to try to figure out who those 2 teams are going to be. My name's Rich. I'm going to be your host. I'm joined by Fog and Effie, and we're about to get into the action here. But before we do, a little bit of a calm before the storm, before we get into the draft, and we even need to talk about that series. Let's talk a little bit about the day, Fog. We don't get to be on panels very often, Fog.
Wait, I missed. I was trying to get my hand in there.
I actually hate that.
You do?
Yeah.
I actually remember you saying you did.
That's the one thing I despise.
It breaks your
Do you
concentration.
remember the story of the one time it happened? It was on the panel that we accidentally gave a new vocabulary word to everybody on my first event.
Oh, that was with Mr. Dominic.
Yes.
Not the Dominic that's here. The other Dominic. Yeah, that was
the other one. He did that all the time. I miss him. I haven't seen him in a while. Ever since
I remember you'd get really mad.
Yeah, I don't get really mad. But
it's the only time I see you serious.
That is the one thing that will make me serious. It's like, don't put your hand in that shot.
Oh, I apologize. I won't do it.
No, it's totally fine. I'm actually happy that you did it because we don't get to do this very often. This is the first time that we get to do this, which is really exciting.
Yep, it is my first time. It's also my first time wearing socks and sandals, so this is like all very new.
That's true.
It is very new for me.
The socks and Crocs lifestyle.
I actually didn't even think about this.
Socks and Crocs are better than socks and sandals.
I agree.
Socks and Crocs, it's the New York vibe right now. I have I'll show you my Crocs collection.
Okay, I know you do have an actual Croc collection.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, do you really?
Yeah. I just started. I'm new to the Croc lifestyle, the sock and Croc lifestyle, but it's about the most anime thing that you could get. Next to the storylines that we've had today. And we should talk about them just a little bit because...
That was smooth.
I know.
Sorry, go ahead.
I know.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, we should talk about the storylines just a little bit because we're starting to see some ups and downs. We're seeing a lot of splits, but with everything that you've seen today, what are your biggest takeaways, Fog? Is there anything that's really hopping off the page for you?
Europe's good. I think that's probably my biggest thing. I think we were all a little worried about like the Europe region, like how they were gonna come into this tournament. But Europe's looking good. Dude, Secret's playing some nice games. Enigma's been playing some nice smooth games too. It's been a little bit more surprising than I expected. Even Gambit. I think people were instantly ruling Gambit out in most of these games. Sure, they're Eastern Europe, CIS, whatever you want to call them, but they've been surprising even when they have 2 stand-ins.
I think Loda's tweet did hit it on the head, though, as well. Loda tweeted out, he was like, you're in a good place when the wild card matches could be a Tier 1 tournament by themselves. And I very much have felt that way throughout the entire day. But I know that the second that you landed, they pulled you aside and they asked you for a prediction. You were like, China looks very strong. Pretty much every analyst was on that bandwagon. How do you feel now that we've seen some of the wild card teams? Do you still feel like the region's going to look strong as we get deeper into the tournament?
I was definitely expecting like serious China dominance throughout the wild cards, but just like Fog said, Europe is strong. Like they really impressed me. I expected Enigma to bring their A game, and like so far they have been performing because like, they've got this anime storyline going on, right? Their backs are against the wall. They need to pull out their super move. Like, they really need this win.
It's the lower bracket thing, right? That's the whole, Team Liquid, Team Enigma. It's just like lower bracket.
It is where they...
I'm going to refrain from using the naughty word that the players use, but, it's fine.
What naughty word?
The B word.
The B word?
Lower bracket is it's the famous miracle word. Maybe famous miracle line.
I thought you were going to say it. I thought I almost got you with the bait. I thought I almost got you with the bait.
You're right. He's taking notes of it. He's like, you said it?
Yeah, it's like, you got him. But yeah, I think one of the interesting things with a team like that, there are a lot of teams that are teams that play better under pressure. It's just a thing that happens all the time, and then you throw them in league play, and it's like, okay, you can never feel the pressure ever. How's your year going? And I feel like now, when that pressure is palpable, it's very obvious what the stakes are for a lot of these games. Hey, if you don't perform here, goodbye. You're not going to make it out of wild card. Yep. And what's the even larger carrot on the stick? It's going to be TI. And going to the qualifiers for that region does not look like a fun time for anybody but the viewers, unless you're a fan of those teams, and then you're probably going to be crying.
Yeah,
but not more than some of the teams that are there, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it's very stressful. So you definitely have to bring your game. So yeah, I mean, it is. I guess like you said, it's surprising, but not really at the same time, because you do expect that Nigma would just bust out everything here, play at their absolute best. So,
and it's funny to also see that they're in the lead right now because they've won one series. So, we team besides them, Nigma currently in first place, and then everybody else in second place. And that might shift a little bit. We do have 2 more series that are going to be played out today. And on this stream, we're going to be looking at Execration versus Vici. So let's talk about that a little bit more, throw them under the microscope. And let's start with Vici and start to talk about this team. What have your thoughts been on Vici so far today?
Vici. I think Vici overall have been playing well. I think they got caught off guard a few times by some of these like European drafts. Like, it felt like they kind of underperformed versus Puck in specific. I don't know if you saw the same thing.
Yep.
But generally, I think Vici is a team that is like very methodical. They like stick to the fundamentals. They just play so well. So if they can hit their stride, I think they can keep going.
Yeah, you talk about them being methodical. Very much when you talk about the anime thing, again, this is very much a Naruto and Sasuke situation where you have complete opposite styles.
It's from Sasuke?
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 Sasuke, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's your name for him. Okay.
Yeah, you know, the guy with the...
Fair enough.
Man, I'm trying to figure out a way to say Sharingan wrong. The Sharingan.
The Mangekyo Sharingan?
the gecko.
He didn't have the Mangekyo.
The gecko Sharingan.
He didn't have the Mangekyo. He didn't get it till the end. Oh god, it's
what the heck, dude?
Oh no, well,
he
sorry
didn't
everybody.
get it until like he got it midway.
Stop with the spoiler. We gotta stop with the spoiler.
The anime ended years ago. Too bad.
Is Boruto still going on?
Boruto is.
I'll be honest. It is a steaming pile of garbage. You know the anime is bad when the most hype. I watched for a little bit, and the most hype thing was Sakura being on. I was like, yeah, and I was like, wait did I just get excited for Sakura, the worst character in anime history? That was when I knew Boruto was really doomed.
Dude, I think Sakura is easily the worst character in all of anime.
The only character, so I have to look at characters outside of anime to find her match for other terrible characters. The only other character who is as bad and as flat as like Sakura is as a character is Oliver Twist. Because you could think about it, Oliver Twist, you could change it. Okay, not in anime. Charles Dickens.
I was about to say what?
Yeah, literally Charles Dickens. But if you took Oliver Twist, you know Oliver.
Yes.
Who will buy my sweet red roses? Yes. You know that one? If you replace that character with a chair, everything that happened would still happen.
That's fair.
You could replace that kid with a piece of furniture and everything would still happen. Sakura has the same depth as Oliver Twist.
So what did this have to do with Methodical and Vici?
Because these are 2 teams with opposite styles.
That is exactly true.
It really is. I mean, let's talk about the other side. We talk about, Effie brings up the fact that Vici's a very methodical team. So what's the opposite of order?
Execration. I think that's actually perfect because they have some very different approaches to not only just the way they play in games, but also their drafts. Like we even saw that other game when they had like Rubik. I actually think I still remember the whole draft. It's like Rubik, PL, like Broodmother, Wind Ranger. They just have like no front line. They're just playing a different kind of style of Dota that we're not used to seeing. Usually we see more, your traditional, you have a front liner, you have somebody who's melee, blah, blah, blah. You don't have 5 ranged heroes or something on the same team, 5 squishy heroes. But, I mean, they can make it work. These guys are young guns, so they're just exciting to watch because they're unpredictable.
Exciting and unpredictable. A team like Vici that very much is going to fall back on the more standard things that we would expect and being a consistent team. How do you think that they fare against that? Do you think that 9 times out of 10 they're going to be able to come out ahead?
I do think so. I think Vici, especially with the way that the 2 supports play, these are, before even coming to this tournament, DY and PYW, they're my 2 favorite supports to watch. They're very methodical. You know exactly the way that they're going to play, but they don't really make those mistakes. Like, their early game is so on point. That's the thing I'm going to watch for first 10 minutes, because they are, like, it's extremely methodical. Like we keep saying, it's 2 supports rotating to mid lane for catapult waves. They do the same thing every single time, every single one of their games. They play very heavily around those catapults early on, so.
They're so consistent, too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if you caught the last game, but the reason why they were able to stay in the game for so long was just the performance of the 2 supports, I'm pretty sure.
They were what, like 50k gold behind, and
50K
somehow
gold.
they're still putting up fights inside this team, like versus Secret when they're super far behind. They're still putting up fights, and that is, you
Very
said, the
impressive.
supports are top-notch spellcasters, top-notch players, so they're the ones to watch usually.
And as we get into the draft here now, the question is Execration going to be able to put together some of the pieces to potentially throw those curveballs out to be able to thrive off of the chaos that you've heard the analysts talking about? Or are we going to see Vici be able to do more of the same? You do it twice.
That one was not intentional. I was inching closer to get ready to read because
Would
I
you
can't
like me to
see
read it?
any. I'm so blind. Oh my
I've
first
been
band,
struggling really
T.
hard actually to see today as well.
I was just making sure. Okay, good. All right, nice. Just making sure I can see the names. I couldn't read the last name. I was like, wait, that's RR, right? Are they using someone else? Oh my God, what is happening? But no.
I didn't even, this is how blind I am. I didn't even realize that the players' names were on the bottom of the graphic. I still am trying to figure out the bands right now. I'm blind.
I've got
to
the first two on the left side, the Doom and the AA, I believe it is.
That's a TA and Nyx Assassin. I'm pretty
The second
sure.
one's a Nyx.
It's a Nyx.
Is that?
All right. It's
I
Nyx.
actually,
Nyx
this
band.
is a little
Good,
bit
I like it.
embarrassing. I said to myself, Pango, interesting.
The second band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually thought it was a Pango too. It looked
I thought it was
like
Pango. Like,
I think
was
that's.
like, TA
I'm pretty
Pango?
sure that's Nyx. Like I'm 98% sure that's Nyx.
I believe you.
I really would hate to crawl across the floor right
I
now
almost
with my
did.
cat ears on.
I actually.
like that's a. That's
You know what, Rich? Could you actually check what hero it is for me, please, really quick?
Man, I just gotta find out if it's a Pango. I'm getting yelled at by production.
You dropped something as well. You broke something. They can't see you. Wait, they're actually saying crawl
I think
closer.
my parents are watching.
I can't see it.
I mean, I take your word for it. You've got better vision than both
I
of us.
think it is a Nyx.
Both of us old
So-
men over here.
Execration first band.
It was
TA.
Nyx.
Yep.
Vici just first pick
Oh, my
here.
back.
Yep.
Or like, we're not going to deal with this.
Like the response. This is more methodical, I guess, coming from Execration. I like both these heroes cause chaos, but it is more of your like methodical approach where you actually have to have a front line or someone to start fights. You have a follow up back with like actual team fight. I like the actual combo of just overall Snapfire versus Grim because you're actually really good at killing the Phantom. I feel like that's something people underrate a lot of the times because you can kill it while it's flying out to you rather than when it's actually latched. So you can actually kill like both of the Phantoms if you do get like a double Soulbind. There's a lot of fun stuff. But now we get early Brood and it's Vici, one of the teams that was the first teams to really start picking it up inside the DPC for Old 11. He is very scary on it.
Let's talk about Brood Mommy, though, just a little bit, because I think people have been going back and forth throughout the day. Pretty much every analyst had a different take on what should happen with Brood. So what's your take on Brood right now, Effie?
My take on Brood. Honestly, I think Brood is still a good hero. And she's quite flexible in her item builds and the way that she's played. I think that's one of her like good qualities, obviously. She did get nerfed recently, which is a pretty significant nerf. They removed her lifesteal from 70% to 40% at level 1. So like her performance on the offlane was affected a little bit, but I still think she's pretty good. Like I think the fundamentals are still there. Like if the team has a Brood player, you can still play Brood.
Yeah, what route do you think you would end up going with the Brood? I mean, obviously we need to see a lot more information here, but I heard Lacoste saying, you know, can you right click? Do you go for something that's more in the lines of a pipe? What do you think is the optimal route to take the Brood?
It depends on what the rest of your heroes have and with what you're playing against, of course. But like if you have a situation where you're lacking, let's say, some type of silences, or silence is super valuable in the game, I like the Orchid build a lot of times. Then you can still go for your pipe build. I think even throwing a pipe in randomly is still good on the hero, just because you are still playing around spiders, and a lot of these heroes that will be able to clear your spiders, once you get pipe, they just can't. They can't actually do anything to you whatsoever. So.
And I think Pipe is quite valuable this game versus Tiny and Snapfire. Like this is a really good pipe game.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree.
I don't know what that hero is. Is that a Tidehunter?
The Tidehunter, I think, is the middle one. I don't know what the hero one to the left
next to
is.
the Tide.
Like it looks kind of like a fish. Like what?
Well, yeah. As we shuffle around right now to try to figure out the anime version.
Dude, I have no idea what that hero is.
Okay, hang on, I'll figure it out.
You're good at this.
I'll figure it out.
Effie.
All right, you just tell me what's happening and I'll...
Okay, so that one's the puck. I've learned that one.
That's puck.
People were struggling on the puck.
That's definitely puck. You know, my favorite thing about it, it's the angle that they took for the puck. It's like the universal anime shit's about to go down face.
The face, like with the head
it's like
tilted down.
The
Yeah,
eyeballs
the
are like
eyebrows,
fish-eyed. Yeah. That is the most anime puck possible.
So they're banning out the...
Is that a Magnus? It's Magnus!
Is it Magnus? I think you're right.
Saved.
It is Magnus. Good call. Damn. Confirmed by production. That is a great call. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see these, Lifestealer and Morphling and the Void, so they're banning all the typical carries and, okay, E.T., hero I've been hoping to see. One of my favorites, of course.
Every single time we've paneled together.
I know, I always say it. As Kyle loves to say too, it's damage manipulation. You amplify everyone in your team, of course, with the natural order, but also it's quite good versus heroes like the spiders. You can get some extra damage, you can actually play around this pretty decently, because you're going to be speedy the entire laning phase. After laning phase.
I think one of the interesting things about Brood now, though, is like even if your spiders die, it doesn't matter that much because you get them back very quickly. Low cooldown ulti, double the amount of spiders. She really doesn't care that much anymore. Shadow Demon.
This is the same duo support. They really like this duo of support, huh? SD and Grim, they used it the last time. It's good versus, it's good in two different situations. Good aggressive, good defensive as well. Good versus ET for the Dispel all throughout the game, if it is going to end up being a core, which is possible here for Execration.
Also a potential save against the tiny jumps in the future, if you're fast enough. It's a bit hard to press it mid-air though, but it can definitely be done.
I feel like every time people do talk about like these saves versus Tiny, I feel like I never see teams do it, but using Portrait. Saving teammates by using, like, you click Disruption, you click your teammate's Portrait. Then you can actually catch them. Like, if you're tossed up in midair, it's really tough to click on your hero to save them a lot of times, but if you click Portrait, it does it instantly no matter what, which I think people underrate quite a lot.
If you play with Quick Cast, you can just move your mouse, like, up and down over the fast hero, and you'll just get it. Quick Cast.
Quick Cast, I advocate for it, I don't use it.
As we look at Execration right now, what boxes do they still need to check in this pick?
Execration.
I'm still worried for the lane that's going to be versus Broodmother. Like, I still don't feel like they actually have a Broodmother solution overall in the game. Like, Tiny can, but that's not going to be the lane that he's going to be in. So, okay. So you do get the Mars. This is one of the better ones.
I personally like Centaur a lot versus Broodmother. Crimson Guard is so valuable. Pipe is valuable. She also does magic damage now. But Mars is also a very good pick. I think it definitely ticks the box that they need there.
I like it just because it's a non-committal kind of thing to clear. It's also good to catch, like, because sometimes these Broods, they play around tree lines. Beautiful thing about Mars, you drop see you later trees. They're all gone, and then the Brood is actually trapped inside of it. Not just because of the Rebuke clearing spiders, but
also
it's nice.
Also with Mars' new shard, he has like DOT damage for the spiders. It's pretty nice. Ember Spirit.
Ember, okay.
Are you on board with it? That was an inquisitive remark there coming out of you, Fogged.
I wasn't expecting to see this hero so much, to be honest with you, but I do kind of like it, especially like just getting into backlines is so important, especially versus heroes like ET and Snap. So there's a hero that just doesn't matter. You see Mars, who cares? You have a way out of that Mars arena always too. You can just like jump right through, get into these back heroes, and you got Grimstroke. So it's a hero that utilizes Ink Swell at like its absolute maximum.
Quick answer.
On the other hand, Tiny and Mars can also jump this Ember Spirit.
Absolutely.
But it can go both ways for sure. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
I'm seeing like almost all the players now taking the Flame Guard absorption talent, right? Because then it's just like Tiny he gets to a point where he's like, wait, what the hell am I doing on the map? Like this Ember's Flame Guard, I use my full combo on him, it does 0 damage. So I've been liking that quite a bit versus a lot of these like heavy burst
I grief
lineups.
games on position 4 Ember, and I take the damage talent because I'm a griefer.
Yep, I tried a position 4 Ember and griefed the other day too. I think Owie was in my lane, I felt really bad.
It upsets your team.
I think so too.
It does, yeah.
But you're having fun.
I'm having fun. That is supposed to be fun.
They're actually just literally banning all the carry heroes on the side of, well, like everyone actually. Like Wraith King's gone, Void's gone, Morph's gone, Lifestealer's gone, Spectre's gone.
I think they banned Spectre, right? Because she can survive the tiny jump. Like these more durable carries are less afraid of heroes like Tiny, heroes like Mars. Also, you can like, if you get arena'd, you can haunt out. It's like a value pick, I would say here.
Do you think Execration's starting to create a lineup here, Fog?
That's right.
They can start to create that chaos that you talked about a little bit earlier, or do you think Vichi's going to be able to? Do you think that Execration has a lineup here where they're going to be able to create that chaos that you mentioned earlier, or do you think this is going to go according to Vichi's plan with what we have on the table as of right now?
I kind of like what Vichi's got right now. I think they have great ways to dodge around the matchups. I think Execration has this like hunting lineup where they're constantly looking to make plays happen, but if they don't actually make the plays happen, they're going to start falling pretty far behind. I think Vici actually just thrives at that versus that play style right now with what they've got.
It also seems like for Vici, this is exactly where they want to be. Like you said, it puts the pressure on Execration. We've already seen what Vici's been able to do, a team that was coming in very high on a lot of teams' lists, or a lot of analysts' lists, rather, to make it out of the wild card. And this would be a huge victory for them. As of right now, if you are just tuning in, it is only Team Nigma who's been able to take an entire best of 2, which puts them in first place as of right now, and everybody else is tied up for second.
Yeah, and that's Ursa ban on Execration. I believe that's a Medusa ban on the side of Vici. So I like that ban. I think Medusa is actually perfect because Execration, they've set themselves up in a draft where they need an overall like a super carry, right? They need one of these Spectres, one of these Medusas, one of these Voids, but now they're kind of all gone. So I feel like Execration's gotten put into a weird position here where, PL might be the best option because it's one of the last ones, but they're into Ember, so it feels really bad. It's into the Grimstroke too, which can be a little bit difficult inside the early game. So yeah, I don't really know what carry is actually left.
I wonder if Execration would go for something like a Drow Ranger this game. I know that their carry player has been playing it a lot in pubs.
Okay.
I can see it working. I can see it lane swapping with Mars after Brood kind of gets out of control and just like running down mid with the team.
Yeah, maybe the Drow. Okay, they go for the Slark. They are like, it's like a full melee draft, I feel like, on Execration. Yeah. We got Tiny, ET, Mars, Slark. We have the Snapfire as the only ranged hero, and not even the most ranged, where I feel like, I like this. This is where I feel like Ember actually thrives. We're able to just get on top of heroes like this, and they can't actually punish you as much. I like the Jug, too. I feel like this is a hard Tiny game.
Yeah, okay, Execration, you called it before the Slark even got locked in. You called it a hunting lineup. How does this hunting lineup find victory in your mind, Fogged? What does it look like to you? What does the road actually look like if they're going to be able to take this first game?
For me, the Tiny needs to just absolutely pop off. He needs to start, he needs to win mid matchup. He needs to be able to try to hunt this Broodmother. I think if they start falling behind too much, on map control, which you're playing versus Brood, it's very likely you're going to start struggling there. They're just going to have a hard time because they don't hit buildings. They don't hit towers really on the side with this Slark. Well, I feel like on Vici, they actually can pressure even multiple sides at the same time with Jug and Brood.
I think with Execration's draft, they need to win their lanes pretty hard. And then I think Tiny can have a good game because he's against 2 squishy backline supports on Shadow Demon and Grimstroke. And those are the ideal games for Tiny, when he can just jump those backlines, delete a hero, see how it goes. But I think it's entirely dependent on how the first 15 minutes of the game play out.
All right, well, we're going to be keeping our eyes on the early game and also keeping our eyes on Tiny. The game is ready to get started, so we're going to throw it on up to the casters.
You're coming right towards me, not even trying to get away. Hello, everyone. It is me, Sir Action Slacks, here with Owie 2000, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause for the AniMajor. It is Execration versus Vici Gaming, and we are so excited to bring it to you. How you doing today, Owie?
I'm doing well.
Fantastic, Owie. Welcome. I've read the Reddit thread about you wanting to be a better caster. Well, welcome to the final test, my friend. You survive this, you'll be going to TI. Anyway, great teams we have here today, my friend. Are you excited? As the panel said, it is going to be team practiced experts versus team wildcard in the wildcards, and it should be something to behold. I do not see the Arkosh Gaming voice lines. Whenever we can spam those, that'd be great.
Yeah, I think this matchup, Execration have some really experienced players. I think RR, he, even back in 2016, he was playing in the wildcards of TI. He knocked out a certain caster named Kyle.
Oh!
Yes, knocked him out from the wildcards before he lost to another caster named Cinderin.
Wow!
So that's some history there with these teams.
Oh my goodness, only 1 out of those 3 people have a good career still happening, and we are straight into the action, my friend. Looks like they're testing the waters here on the bottom rune, looking for that delicious double rune potentially, and very excited to see how things turn out with this Broodmother, Owie. Now, things have changed. Brood used to be that pick it last, trick everybody, oh no, it's a Brood. Now we're getting second pick Broods. Why are they able to get away with this kind of stuff? Look at all that AoE coming out from Execration in response.
Well, I think the first thing is that they changed how Brood's lane works. You're less dependent on the spiders, so she's a more robust hero. You can you have more webs at first, you have a lifesteal sustain mechanism, and it's actually permaban versus Ode 11 in the Chinese DPC. I'm surprised they let him have it.
That makes a lot of sense, yes, indeed.
I sort of like their plan though. Like, their Mars and Tiny can both kill the spiders, which means that as soon as Slark can't lane anymore, they can just swap the lanes and he'll be completely fine.
Yeah, this looks like the lane from hell down here. You've got Slark trying to survive against Broodmother Shadow Demon. Pretty tough, but hey, you got that last creep hit there on the range creep. Very important for you 3K players, trying to make sure that happens here. And, yep, typical the dance around the small camp that you'll see with these supports.
Yeah, while executed by PYW, he actually manages to block both camps, which means that the ET can't interfere with this pull at all. He'll be able to get lane control and just get this Brood a lot of levels.
Oof, look at that. That is not what you want from a Broodmother lane. Already a difficult lane, and it's only going to get worse as Mama, that single Mama, is looking for a date, and that little fish boy, he is looking mighty fine. I stopped talking. You can pick that up right where I left it, my friend. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you. Thank you, Flack.
Top lane, looks like things are a little even up here. You're going to see only 3 last hits for this nice little Mars, but they're doing some good trading.
Yeah, Radiant has a big wave on their side, which means they should be able to try to secure this hard camp pull. If you pull at 150, I think they should go together to do this. They'll be able to stack and pull and hopefully deny a full wave from Juggernaut.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can see Nico, he played a bit greedy here. He didn't come with the Snapfire, and as a result, DY was able to just mess with that pull. It's a bit suboptimal for them, I think.
That's right, everybody. If there's one person that knows about messing up pulls, it's Owie2000, as I like to call it, the gatekeeper in my pubs. Face off against him at least once a week. Thank you, Valve Matchmaking, for ruining my MMR. Owie, it's so good to have you on next to me instead of destroying me. But back to the game. 0-0 still. There's a tree in that guy's face. Pretty exciting stuff. But pretty tame, I must say, for these aggressive lanes.
I think it's pretty low kill threat on both sides, to be honest. Like Juggernaut, Grimstroke, if they go too far up on the Radiant side, they might get killed, but you have the cookie to disengage to spin. And bottom lane, like, it's really hard to kill with a Broodmother. And like, it's not like Slark ET has a lot of kill threat. Like, maybe some pounce ET hits, but it's nothing big.
Securing those last hits. Ember Spirit still in the lead. Ooh, it tied, actually. It just has a few more denies, but, you know, those mid players, they care a lot about that deny stuff. Uh-oh, a little bit of action down on the bottom lane. Nice leash coming out from Slark, looking to potentially secure that first one. It looks like he will be able to get in. There you go.
That's a big kill.
Hell yeah.
I said there's not that much action coming, but they just instantly die.
Well, that's called the caster's curse, Owie.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. At least that's what you curse yourself with. I curse myself with baldness, so what can you do? I said I'd have a pompadour for the rest of my life. As we move back to the top lane here, a little initiation. Nice cookie into Spear. Bring back that Juggernaut, but you just can't stay near Bob Ross Jr. as he approaches onto that Mars. Looking nice. All right, bottling up. Looking for something to happen here. I gotta say, though, everything seems pretty good. Everyone's pretty tied up. Mars is coming back. Another cookie, another Spear. Do you learn, gentlemen? Here we go. Po-yo-yo about to go as he's running for his life underneath the tower. Takes one more skill to take him out. Cancels the salve.
That's
not too
huge.
shabby.
They don't have any regen left. They only have some tangos. He didn't skill up the healing ward at level 2, so they're gonna be under a lot of pressure with this double wave coming in.
First-time viewers of Dota have no idea the gigantic impact that we just witnessed with that salve cancel, but we sure do. Uh-oh, here we go. Back to the top lane. Gonna go on him again. This time on to the Grimstroke, a much easier target as they're gonna take him out. Mr. Spin's going for wins, and he's gonna try to get that Sapphire. Sapphire turning it around. Here we go, Mars. Not any mana, though, so he's gonna have to walk back, but this is a complete lane domination from Execration. I have to say, I am pretty surprised.
I think that death from Grimstroke was actually pretty good for Dire. Because Juggernaut, they both had sort of low resources, and if the double wave had pushed into the tower with them having low resources, Jug wouldn't be able to get any CS.
Uh-oh. Bottom lane. Got a little crafty there. Sorry to interrupt you, sir. I'm dumb, so I thought that Slark might die, but clearly he was completely safe. Go ahead, Owie.
Yeah, I remember a game at TI where Anna was playing versus a Batrider, and he was like about to get triple waved in the tower. and instead of like, he forced the Bat Rider to Firefly on him, so he would die and respawn in time to get all the CS, because it's actually worth more for you.
Wow.
And this was more ideal by Vici, because they go on them, so the Grimstroke dies. He's able to like refill mid's resources with the bottle refill and get all of the items.
That is a fantastic thing to use in your games at home. Kill every time you die, so that you are recharging your resources, and it's the most effective way to do it.
Just say it's fine. Triple Remnant mid.
What? Nani? Okay, he's going back there. I guess Snappfire's looking for the cleanup, but Ember Spirit has just so much health with that shield. The shotgun! Grandma says, go back home, little one. And there you go. Not sure if that was worth Owie, but it was something.
I think generally those trades actually favor the team whose support gets a kill. I mean, I'm a bit biased because I play support.
Okay.
Go bottom lane, 1 second.
Here we go. Single mother looking for a date, going out. The kids are not home yet, and she is all alone, going for that little Slark boy, and he's going to make it out. Yeah, turn around on the Elder Titan. Old Solo Man going against that as well, and just gotta say, very weird sexual tension down in that bottom lane. Po-yo-yo-yo! Picking up a kilo up in the top lane. I can't believe it! What happened to his good friend, Snapfire? That's why you never rotate, kids. Carry dies immediately.
At the same time, this Snapfire is level 5. Like, he's the same level as the Juggernaut. When they come back up here with the Mars, full resources on Snapfire, he got balled up when the Tiny came back mid, and full resources on Mars. Like, they're going to pressure this Juggernaut really hard, I think.
Yeah, nice stacks coming out here.
Miss Cookie.
2 position 5 players, you know, both looking at the stacks, looking at the wards. Carry players in the chat getting extremely upset. Me want kill, talk about death, as we see these rotations a little bit more. Still, both teams playing it rather cautious, getting some kills here and there, but the kill threat, as you said, has, you know, increased significantly. Double damage coming out on the Ember Spirit, trying to buy himself some time, Mr. Tiny. And we'll see how this lands out. So what are your predictions so far on how things have been going in this early game, Howie? You think that we're in steamroll territory anytime soon?
I think... I'm not too sure when the snowball, like they want to start the snowball. I think Vici, they should look top and see that they still have a catapult here in a double wave. They should try to rotate the Ember there. Mars, they didn't do it, but Mars had no TP, so I think that would have been a really good rotation. I think, like I've seen this every game for the last 3 years from Vici. They just, on the catapult, they bring both supports to mid, they check the 6-minute rune. It's really good, and usually their transition from mid is also really solid, but this catapult ended up not doing any damage to top tower.
Yeah, well, Broodmother has hit a nice power spike. She has her ultimate, and she's got the babies now. Going to be setting them in to try to take this early tower, as all Broods do. Slark on the verge of level 6 as well, which is huge for him, as he is going to try to turn on this Brood. Here comes the cookie. Oh, Slarky Malarkey, not looking the right way there. Old 11 has got to get out of there, but this is an experienced Brood. Just another day in this arachnid hell. Well done, Brood.
Yeah, I think they will need to rotate the Slark out of here. I mean, maybe you can sustain for a bit, but as soon as she builds up the spiders, like, you don't want to rotate 3 heroes just to kill some spiders and give your Slark like 1 wave. You need to start like moving to Mars there so he can stand alone versus Broodmother, or even the Tiny. I think Mars is probably better.
That's right. Well, Brood can stay here all day with that passive regen, so they're going to keep setting people down to try to get her. Yet again, another initiation. There we go. That's enough damage potentially, but oh my god, DY with the save right there. Slarky Malarkey in some trouble now. Ember Spear rotating in. Nice snag. No more stuns, but they don't need them. Look at that. Woo! That is how you play some Broodmother, baby. Riding the lightning on that one, and she's just going to heal straight back up. Now, that's Tiny. He's got to start doing some rotations, man. Wow.
Yeah, that was such a smart rotation from Vici. They actually have this ward near the triangle. I think it sees most of the path that the supports would have taken. Ooh, he just eats him, huh?
Yikes.
That was rough. that was actually rough to watch because, you know, your friend just died there. You don't want to die too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but they knew the supports didn't rotate out. They probably would rotate it through the river to check the 8-minute rune. So Ember just comes in. When they go on Old 11, he's able to turn her around, and that's a huge turnaround there.
Yeah, so what do they need? Do they need Tiny to get a Blink Dagger so we can start doing these rotations, or what? I mean,
it seems like that, but he's almost 2,000 gold from a Blink Dagger. I don't think he can wait that long. I think this play on top, like, this is the right play, but it's very hard because it's versus Juggernaut. He needs to hit some Spear into Tiny combo here.
All right, could toss him into it. We'll see what happens here. Yowie wowie! Oh, it does not get the pin, and the stun is not going to be able to do anything there.
Yeah, that felt a bit low percentage. I think maybe they should have tried to use the Mars Arena to mid. Like, killing this Juggernaut just not... Like, even all 3 of Vinci's cores, though, they're very hard to kill this game.
Oh, this is what I've heard the talent talking about. This is the classic spider spread out that Old 11 has patented. He will send all of his critters to different parts of the map to act as wards, and he is some kind of spider god. Now, I copied that from Fog, so please don't let him tell you that I've been listening to him have conversations with other analysts for my cast, but keep an eye out, and there's the patented spider split there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he does it. I think he might play like Brood War or something, because they do that a lot in Brood War. You have to clone your Mutalisk. But it's very good if you can do that. Just extra vision. No one else really does it. It's such an advantage.
Brood War, I get it. Good one, Owie.
Yeah, that was intentional.
All right, time to clean up these stacks and get a little bit of comebacks as Juggernaut in a pretty precarious situation. He's going to spin. That's an unfortunate timing there. No health, no mana, no chance to survive unless he fucks it up completely. Yoink! Sorry there, Nico. As we continue on.
That was like just straight between the 2 trees.
Yeah, definitely a very hard Mars hit. As we see the fire snaps coming out here, looking for some kind of kill there. Gonna be tossed on. Holy Macarena. Grandma in some trouble, and there we go. And Arena hits that spear, and they're gonna move in. Here comes the Broodmother trying to clean house, trying to get that Slarky Malarkey. That is a quick fish, but not quick enough, and she's looking if she can get some more. Mama is looking for a date, but all she's got is the rock, so that's not too much of a save. Gonna go ahead and sacrifice. Hello? Nani? She's gonna die anyway.
Yeah, both teams just bring 5 heroes to battle in the mid lane at 11 minutes. Just they understand the importance of this mid tower. And I must say, like, it didn't work out that well for Vici, but I like the idea, right? Like, I see a lot of brutes stay in their sort of offlane for a long time. He wants to, like, come join these fights really early.
Well, that's good. I mean, he's got that power spike, and you know what happens in your typical Brood game? You start winning that lane, you take that tower, and then suddenly it's 30 minutes later and Brood is getting owned. So, gotta keep up that momentum, I believe, my friend. But if you lose lanes like that, if you lose fights, you lose that momentum, and then what is a Brood that is behind? Not much at all.
Ooh, Tiny's got a DD rune, and he's 80 gold from his Blink Dagger.
Not good.
Not good?
Every single position 5's heart just started racing.
Oh, he just pops it.
Hello.
I mean, he's refreshing his resources so that when he gets his Blink Dagger, like, he can smoke right away. But I would like to see some smoke from them there. Yeah, Staff are CP mid. They'll make a smoke here. They should go mid. They have Arena in 10 seconds, a smoked up Tiny Blink, and this should be an easy fight for them.
Okay, what could go wrong? Everything has been going according to plan so far. It's a pretty close game.
This is like a weird smoke path, because they're smoking towards bottom, but Mars is running top. I really thought they would go mid there. They're looking for the Brood instead.
Yeah, I think these guys are smoking something else besides the smoke of deceit, my friend. I don't know if they'll be able to get this Brood. Oh, she's Old 11 walking right in. Oh, no. Gotta move quick though, but a nice sleep. Can we uke? No ukes here. And she'll be going down. Maybe the rest of the team can make something out of it though. They did reveal 3, but...
That is a really good kill, but I think Effie was mentioning on the panel that the Radiant team, they don't really have any tower damage.
Right.
So when you use these smokes with your big timings, like, you want it to lead into an objective. It's really good they're able to get top tower, but if they could chain it with mid tower, like, they would be so hard ahead in map pressure.
And there, it's a stolen stack. Man, is there anything more tilting than a stolen stack, my friend? Oof.
It's rough.
That's why I don't ever stack.
That's true. You don't ever ward either.
That's true.
Because what if they kill your wards?
It's an emotional.
Those are your friends.
It's an emotional hit if they kill what little I can protect. So yes, never ward, never pull, and then they can never steal anything.
Slacks is almost immortal.
That's right.
I just want everyone. This guy. What's your hockeys?
I don't want to talk about it,
right,
but I do want to talk about that this is a TI finalist cast right here. Second place from me, first place from Owie. I'd like to see Cap and what's-his-ass talk about, you know, we're better than they'll ever be, unfortunately.
They have never played in the TI finals like both of us have.
What a bunch of idiots. Anyway, as we move on here, looks like a little initiation from the Ember Spirit. Just a little touch on Elder Titan. I'm sure he's very thankful. Such a hideous creature is probably not touched often as we continue to see where this game goes. Let's talk about items. That's a little trick that I was taught by some of the casting greats of when you run out of things to talk about. You ask your analyst about items. Anything interesting here, Mr. 2000?
Well, Mars is about to pick up his Blink Dagger. They're smoking again with the double Blink. I think this time, well, they're going for the Brood again. But I think it's the same story. Like, They're going for hero kills when you need to get objectives.
Initiation onto the Grimstroke. Grim trying to make his way out. Another spear lands this time. Oh, and the babies! Oh, the massacre! No! She doesn't care. She's just going to leave. Ember Spirit trying to pick up something, but it doesn't look like it's going to be very easy here. Going to maybe chase down old Grandma. Grandma's down. Broodmother on the back line, but meanwhile on the top, we got Shadow Demon trying to find something. He will be able to get that Elder Titan as well. Moving in on the Tiny now, but here comes Slarky Malarkey, and he is pissed. Big Fish looking for big damage. Yowie Wowie 3000. He's going to be going down as well, and it is Mars's time to try to pick up that Ember Spirit. He will pick up the Ember. Old 11 on his own, up the cliff. No, thank you very much. He's going to stay up there. They tricked him. That's the cliff, baby. Take notes, Arteezy. That's what you're supposed to do as he gets up there and escapes. Meanwhile, Poyo Yo-Yo is just farming to his content. So space created for that Juggernaut, who I literally forgot was in this game.
Yeah, no, they tricked you. You have full vision.
My God.
They just moved everything away from Juggernaut. He farmed a lot of gold there. He got mid tower. I'd say probably the most important objective on the map. And like the Tiny, he got 3 sets of spells off there, but how Vici kited that fight meant that like they didn't lose as many heroes as you would have expected them to. Really well played by them.
Yep, going for a Battle Fury here to accelerate the farm, eh? So he assumes that he's going to be making enough of that money, Owie?
Yeah, I mean, I usually don't like Battle Fury with Brood just because Brood tends to occupy the bottom, like usually carries you by Battle Fury. You occupy the off lane because you can go back to your Ancients and farm it really fast. But I think they probably have some idea of flipping the map with Brood so you can control Roshan area anyways. Oh, they're going in here. I think they know about the stacks, right? They want to steal this, but...
This is why you don't stack. Look at this hard work.
I don't know if they're stealing this.
Oh, no. No. And there it goes.
They're doing a lot of damage to these Ancients. I'm honestly surprised. They just brought 5 heroes and hit them.
Well, look at that. Somebody's going home and they got robbed on Christmas.
That's really sad because Juggernaut just got his Battle Fury. He's heading over there to get the Ancients now.
Grimstroke dies. Juggernaut gets destroyed as well. He's going to be able to spin out, but will he be able to make it through that double damage Mars? Meanwhile, on the back line, Grandma going for initiation on that Demon. Going to be protected though. And another initiation there. Nice pick up on that Ember Spirit. But Mars still got that double damage. Looking for that big hit. There's the spear. Old 11 trying to get out of there, but the cliff is somehow clipping into the Mars arena, and this is a complete disaster. Oh, wait. Hold on. That's a Juggernaut. I forgot about him again. Ember Spirit trying to make his way out. Tiny moving back in, and here comes the spin. Will he be able to make it out? Yes, that broken combo. The spin and the swell, as my girlfriend calls it.
Yeah. Execration, they managed to steal the Ancient stack, but they actually use a lot of resources there. And they sort of continue to fight after. It's sort of like if you've ever like tried to do Roshan in your pubs and then you take a fight right after, because Roshan's like done so much damage, you use so many resources hitting him, you cannot fight after.
Yeah.
And, you know, they get the stack, but I think they lose the fight. I don't even know. These fights are crazy. A lot of heroes at them.
A lot of 5v5 engagements here at 17 minutes.
Yeah, no, when else would you want to fight, right?
I mean, that's my kind of game, baby. As we move back in, and here comes a scan.
They're just going. This is like the 3rd smoke in a row.
Well, you got Tiny mid. You got to go get your pickoffs. You got to get that map control, and you can't let Brood split push you out and let that Jug free farm. So
I gotta say, like, you see the Battle Fury on Jug, but he hasn't been able to farm anything. Like, he bought this Battle Fury, but they're just... Execration, they're playing so well against it. They see Battle Fury and Juggernaut, they're weak. Okay, let's go take his Ancients. If this guy has more fighting items, maybe you can't make that same play, and the non-Battle Fury item actually ends up giving you more farm.
Might have wanted to go a battle build here. As we see, it is pure battling from beginning to end. Broodmother finally starting to get into her element a little bit and provide some push. Gonna start to take the enemy jungle, maybe put some pressure on that tower, and this is what you'd expect from a Broodmother game.
They farmed 6 of Dire's Ancient Cats. I don't think Dire farmed any. That's a huge, like more than net worth, it's just a huge EXP swing.
Oh, there it is! The Spider Special.
What's the Spider Special?
Just sending one. Look how he puts them all on one so it looks innocent, like 2 little babies. Just like, you know, single mothers on Twitter. You're like, oh, do you have any kids? Yeah, just one. And then they just explode out of her house and they're like, give me money. I've been there.
Okay.
Dating's tough, Allie.
Okay.
At any rate, as we continue, top Radiant Tower Tier 1 still up in a Broodmother game. Bad sign here at 19 minutes. Vici Gaming, though, they have a lot of ways to get back in this game, in my opinion. Ember Spirit comes back. Broodmother, split push. Juggernaut can get some farm. This is like Tiny's time, right, Owie? This is rotation and insta-kill any one that he finds.
It is. He has his Echo Saber now.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what Vici's timing is. To be honest, I've seen a lot of this Broodmother hero, but they're like, how do I say it? It's hard to involve this hero in your timing because you don't know when this hero's strong. Like, you need more conditions than just your items, right? You need like the webs, you need the spiders, you need additional conditions in order to be able to fight. But this is one thing that Brood's really good at. He's really good at killing the enemy tier 2s.
Which is hopefully what we see here. Got to make some space, Broodmother. There's so many people next to her, though. They're crowding around expecting her to get gone on, I guess.
But do you see that spider spread? They're checking all the TPs. They walk back as soon as I say that, so they couldn't see the TPs. But he's getting this tier 2, I think.
That's absolutely true.
It's very hard to defend.
Look at Slark is also looking at a tier 2. That one's halfway down, but the spider spread has happened again. Look at those little sentry boys. That one's having a little dance party in the corner. He's so excited. Go get him, Jeffrey, as we push that bottom tower. There we go. Broodmother making it happen. Meanwhile, Dire tier 2 top still exists, so Broodmother did her job.
Yeah, I think most of Dire's thinking right now is like whether they can defend this top tower. If you can have this shrine advantage against your opponent's outpost advantage, it's a huge deal.
Gotta love
it. It just goes down.
Love it when the tower dies while the analyst is talking about all the ways that they can defend it. Very depressing stuff.
You know, they're thinking about it. They decided not to. Instead, they smoked. They hit control of the enemy boundary rune and triangle.
And you see what I'm talking about, Owie? They just walked by an ancient camp. No stacks. What did they get out of this? Nothing.
That's really smart.
Stupid.
Your way of playing Dota is really good and efficient.
Thank you, Owie. That is a great way to suck up to your co-casters that you're trapped with for the entirety of the event. Love you, buddy. As we continue, a little bit of pressure. Oh no! Caught out there on the Shadow Demon. That is not the man you want to get caught in the arena. He's supposed to save people in arena. Can't even make it to his Ember Spirit. Meanwhile, Grimstroke getting a little bit of the binds in a non-useful way. Ember Spirit trying to get this Mars. Mars pops that little Wandy, and he's going to make his way out. Little baby's suffering here as Old 11 goes in. Get the spiders, get the Omni. Oh, but he's not very lucky. Goes for the illusion. He will still be able to get a Grandma in some trouble now. Here we go. Slarky Malarkey on the back line, getting assaulted by Grimstroke's wife. That's real lore. He's going to try to go in, spear him actually away, feeds Mars into the pot here, and Slark will be able to get that healing ward. At least something died, and now he must make his escape into the water. Is that the one that got away, Owie? It looks like it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nah, this fight's like, I think the panel's mentioning, but they have a lot of like single target jump on Execration side. Tiny was able to sort of find both the supports. They kill him. That's his job. But afterwards, as soon as the Juggernaut with the healing ward, Ember and Brood group up, it's really hard to fight them when the arena's down. You don't have any stuns left for them. I think we saw that like Vici's long fights are really good. I think Execration need to look to take these bursts with like the Tiny combo, maybe some Snapfire OTs, and sort of use the ET Stomp to reset, keep as many of their heroes alive as possible, and look for another jump after that.
A standard Brood game, staying in this lane, trying to make a little bit of space here, but Execration, as you said, is just playing this pretty well. However, they are starting to fall behind in the net worth here. 4K ahead on Vici Gaming. The Battle Fury is kind of coming out, and Slark has tried to do this team fighting in a couple of engagements, but he hasn't found it to be a little too profitable. So we'll see if they can't keep this momentum up, because I feel like once they fall behind, it might be the end for them.
And they're smoking again. This team has a lot of smokes. They must have bought them really early.
Maybe they stole some from the enemy? I don't know what's going on here. This is crazy.
But they're smoking up a hill, though.
Uh-oh, wrong target. He's going to break that smoke. We're going to see a blink, but it is not revealed. It could have just been a roaming Tiny, so they're still going to try to do something with it. Ember Spirit now, he breaks it again. Elder Titan, they now know it's a smoke, and they must make their way up. Cap, would you shut the hell up here? I can hear you. Shut up! Goddamn hype casters. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing I forgot to mention this game.
Keep casting!
There's nothing to cancel the Jug spin TP, so it's very hard for Execration to deal with the map. I think earlier on they did a good job of dealing with the net worth disadvantage, like just from the sheer map control that Vici should have, by going and stealing the enemy's ancients. However, as soon as Vici hit their items, they couldn't do that anymore.
Let's take a look at that tower. Oh no, the spider split. This is what they dream about. This is a brood. Oh my god, okay. We don't dream about that. Call Child Protective Services. That tree just hit all those children. But tower halfway down, what other hero can do that, Owie?
That is a lot of damage. And I think it sort of reveals, as we were talking about, one of the weaknesses of Execration's lineup.
Shit.
What happened?
There's a smoke, Howie. They're about to move on here, waiting in the winds. That's right. They're waiting, probably banking that Brood is alone, out of position, and there they see the entire enemy team. They're going to go ahead and hit that Mars hole. There we go, launching everything that they have. Broodmother on the outside. They're going to get an instant quick kill, double quick kill on both the supports, but Ember Spirit turning it around with the BKB is going to be moving on to Slarky Malarkey, and a nice Omni Slash coming out from the Juggernaut. Moving in! Grandma! You're going to the retirement home early, and you're not coming back. Goodbye, Grandma. As we push down into the bottom lane, now a sprint by Mrs. Spider to go make her new home in this bottom lane, as everyone else is trying to figure out if they should buy back or not. Owie 2000, is this buyback time? Do you let the racks go?
You should buy back.
Hell yeah. Good call, Owie. There you go. A little bit of lag from destroying all of those tiny babies. And we move on.
They're just slowly building their lead. I think the panel talked about, but they're just very methodical on Vici, right?
Yeah.
They take these fights, they secure the map control. You know, you get some visions from securing the map, you take another fight, and the lead has just gone up and up. It's very hard for Execration to keep up on the map without constantly killing Vici's heroes.
And Juggernaut never seems to be in trouble.
He doesn't.
He just pops in, he always
slashes.
Yeah, and he just walks away. Very, very good for him. Old 11. He'll never get Broodmother again in the entire event.
I really don't think he should. It's his first pick. Like, every Chinese team has banned this hero versus them. I think he's just copied the teams that have been playing them for like months. Just ban it.
Look at the spider spread. Look at those little sentries. You can kill one, but you can't kill the horde as they spread out there and become mobile living wards with souls and feelings. And they're dying, but ignore that part. Here we go. Somehow they pulled. Never pulled to that camp before, but a big fan of that. And initiation on that Brood. It's a lot of damage to kill that Brood, but they'll be able to get her this time. Say goodnight. And they defend their bottom tower for just a little bit longer.
He's really high level. He's dead for a long time.
70 seconds,
and this is what Execration need. They need to chain this play into additional kills. Big focus onto those supports, trying to get those out as quick as possible, but Slark not able to take out that Shadow Demon quick enough. Here come the cookies. Yummy, yummy. That is some spicy tamales headed up for the team. They know it's time to back out a little bit. Tiny looking to engage, but Grimstroke going to be able to silence him and stop his blink at the same time. Another 5-man engagement here from Execration. These boys are just running into the hood, trying to find something, and the only thing you can do as this team is just to walk away. Don't even make eye contact with them. Just like in middle school, if you have 5 bullies walking towards you, drop your backpack, walk away, you'll be all right.
I think that was a really good poke by Vici, because when they were going on top, they never intended to kill that hero. All they wanted to do was move all the enemy heroes down there, so that even though Brood was dead, the Radiant team got 0 map control. You can see now, Stark TP bottom, he's starting to push out this bot lane, but Brood's already alive in 10 seconds. They got this Brood kill and they got nothing for it.
That is very sad for this team. They are on a timer, I believe, at this point. 8K now behind. They have got to make these 5-man rotations work, Howie. This is starting to get a little sad for them as we see if they can finally get that damage that is needed. It's really the Slark. You got to pick off these 2 supports. Grim can't survive, Shadow Demon can't survive, and if you don't burst them down, Shadow Demon and Grim is just going to make that fight go too long.
To be honest, Execration has actually been doing a pretty good job of finding supports and killing them.
It's true.
I think after that, though, they need to find a way to like disengage without losing so many heroes. And that's really hard to do versus like, you know, the Jug itemized for that. He has the Aghanims, he can jump you from extra range. The Ember just, I mean, he's Ember, he's going to catch you. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm curious to see how Execration want to execute these fights.
Pushing now. Nice little farm. What are we waiting for here? This Vici seems pretty strong. 8 seconds left on that BK. Oh, 8 charges left, excuse me. As Brood is now back in a position, they want to have a fight somewhere else on that map, and they get a free Rax out of it. And we're seeing a bunch of pings coming out from mid. Here we go, starting that fight. They're grouped up again. Ember Spirit trying to make some space here. As Broodmother just sends the babies bottom, and now she's trying to link up with her team middle.
Yeah, it's very clean play from Vici. All they have to do is wait for a Radiant hero to show at bottom lane. This tower is going to be under pressure. As soon as someone shows it, they know they have full map control.
My God, look at those little babies. They're tearing it up, Owie.
Yeah, he just stacks up, so it looks like there's only 1 spider,
but they do a lot of damage per hit, and it's just so unexpected to lose your entire tower like that.
It is. And now they're towerless.
Yeah.
Frax open.
You can see as soon as Execration respond to bottom, like Juggernaut's running straight to top, he's going to push this lane in, and now Brood will like sort of bide her time bottom, wait till Sun to show top, and then she will push bottom again. You see them just being ping-ponged around the map, not farming anything. Meanwhile, Vici, they keep maintaining a GPM lead.
An intelligent spider. Is there anything else more terrifying, Owie?
That is super terrifying. I do not like spiders.
You don't? Do you have,
I do not like
do you have
spiders.
a phobia of spiders, or just a general dislike?
Saying I have a phobia like downplays what it means to have a phobia. Because like I'm
not if you have one.
I'm terrified of it, but like I don't like I can function when I see them.
Do you have any phobias?
I would never tell you.
Well, okay, that's sad about our relationship. I have claustrophobia, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I get into a small space that I can't stretch... Oh my god, Broodmother's dead! No, not yet, though. She's about to be, though. Oh my goodness gracious, she escapes the wrath of the cookie up to the hill, and she's gonna walk out. But Mars says no! I land this spear. Goodbye. Join the Ashen Legion. And there she goes. But no, if I'm in a tiny little space, I can't even think straight. I just start thrashing like some sort of insane caveman and punching my way out. It's crazy.
I believe it.
Thank you, Owie, for believing me.
Yeah, but this is what Execration needs. Like, Vici can play the map. They can try to get map control by making Execration heroes show. But if they mess up for 1 second and you catch them, you can snowball off your lead you get for killing them.
Palos in a bit of trouble here. Gonna have to commit the ult already. Looking to jump out, and he'll be able to, but that's not good. Slark ult on cooldown. You know, Mars Arena is on cooldown. They killed Brood with it, and this is not the positioning that we've seen from Vici so far. They're a little grouped up here, but they're ready to do exactly what you said. As soon as they see 5 people, they're going to run back, and they're going to escape.
Yeah, they do have the Aghanims on the Shadow Demon. So you saw Slark in that engagement. He couldn't get any stacks. So his Roshan's really slow from Execration. Oh, Mars.
There we go. Having some issues here. Going to go straight into that Elder Titan. Mars is taking... there we go. Okay, Mars is out. Initiation here. BKB's popped. Juggernaut looking for some kind of Omni-Slash target, and Slarky Malarkey gets that first hit bash as soon as he can. Trying to make his way out, and Po-Yo-Yo-Yo. Not quick enough. Not really the engagement that Vici Gaming was looking for, but they didn't get wiped. Broodmother respawns, so not the worst in the world.
I mean, they killed the Mars and the ET. They forced a buyback. I think Vici's pretty happy with that.
Is that good?
That is good. When you kill the enemy heroes, it's good.
Wow. They just won. I mean,
it's not as good as killing the entire enemy team.
Well, yes, I like to shoot for the stars.
Yes,
that's right. Let any survive.
Most importantly, I think they bought time again. Like Execration, they got 2 pickoffs on this Brood, and neither of them really led to any. Oh shit!
Jesus, make her pay for it. Broodmother blinded by her own grief of seeing all those babies go down. And Juggernaut not getting the best Swift Slash in the world. He is going to be able to stun that little Slark, but Slark's going to turn it straight around on him. Here come the blasts. Mortars are out, but Mars is way in the front there. Ember Spirit engaging the rest of those supports on the back lines, and you are going to see that Ember just clean house. He killed them all, for goodness gracious. All right, moving in, trying to get this Mars again. That's a big Mars kill if they can get it. Gonna go
buyback.
That is bad. That is a Rax potentially.
I think they'll take Roshan before they go high ground. They have a long time. I must say, like, if you look at the game plan from Execration, like they go and they burst here, Slark gets some stacks, they reset. This Agnes pickup by Shadow Demon completely messes up that plan because Slark can basically no longer get any stacks when he engages. The fights don't get better for Execration when they go longer, so I'm not too sure what their plan for a win is.
You know, Cap's doing it on purpose. Every time nothing's happening, he just starts talking
he's yelling.
And they're hitting the Roshan! Really, they're really going into it! There's the healing ward! All those babies are being healed up, and they've got it! Unbelievable! We both just flipped each other off across the Pagonias. You weren't able to see it at home, but having a great time here at the WePlay AniMajor. 4 minutes remaining on that Aegis of Immortality.
Radiant's middle
All right.
under attack.
Right, so Juggernaut, he's 500 gold for a Scotty. He's going to TV bottom, push this lane out. I think we should look... Oh, fight happening.
Oh my goodness. Okay, the babies are trying to get on something, but Broodmother going to be healed up a little bit. Everybody's trying to get that brood, but meanwhile, you're Tiny in some trouble. Those little spiders are biting and biting. The arachnid assailant is on the hunt yet again, looking for something, and is just a split. Very weird. Middle school dance.
Yeah, honestly, pretty good engage for Execration, I think, because the Ember was dead and Vici have Aegis, but they saw the Juggernaut TV bottom, so they knew he couldn't get to a fight right away. That Brood was honestly pretty close to dying there, I'd say. Like, it looked like he was healthy, but, he gets hit a bit more, he's dead. And... yeah, no, it's hard for them to play the map right now. There's just so much push from lane shove from Vici, and they have an Aegis.
Yes, their area to farm is slowly closing around them as the spider moves closer and closer. I mean, they've had trouble killing Juggernaut already. I can't imagine they're going to be able to kill him twice, Owie, and he's almost level 25. Still no stacked Ancients.
Still no stacked Ancients. He's just been having a phenomenal game, though. He's 6-0-4. I think he's come to every single fight he should, and he's taken an objective every time he wasn't supposed to come to the fight. It's really good heads-up play. Probably good communication. I can't really tell, but it looks like it.
There is another smoke. Unbelievable. They are just buying these as soon as they are off cooldown, looking for these engagements. Broodmother going to be able to break the smoke, though, and that's even more depressing.
His Broodmother, he's just itemized so tanky. Even when they jump him, as long as he's next to his ally heroes, I don't think he's dying before your team is, especially with the Shadow Demon save, especially with the Grimstroke shard heal.
Yes. Quite a big list of to-dos coming out here for Execration. Kill the unkillable Brood, kill the Jug you've never killed once, twice. That's pretty tough. But there are always chances to come back in Dota unless your Slark gets picked off by an Ember Spirit, which will be happening right now. Slark trying to make his way out here. Juggernaut getting some spins out and a little bash, but not really at the time that you wanted. Oh no, separation. BKB coming out from the Mars. Bunch of damage coming out in this arena, but they're going to be able to clean up a lot of good stuff there. PYW manages to survive. They'll be moving in, looking for Grandma. Grandma with the Ghost Scepter, but she's out. Slarky Malarkey, he's looking not so hot himself. Commit the buyback to the Tiny, and it looks like this is going to be a no-gochi if anybody else dies.
That was a rough fight. Morris hit like some beautiful 4-man arena with both supports in it, and they didn't have the damage to follow up.
That is true. I don't know how they fight anymore. I mean, you have to buy back. You have to 5-man fight, but they just did one, and they didn't kill anyone.
They have some, like, toss into tier 4 tricks. Yes, that's what they're going
There we go. Nice jaw call, Owie, as they go straight onto that Broodmother. But will they be able to survive the assault from the rest of the team here? Juggernaut's in. He's trading between a bunch of different targets, looking for some kind of bash here. Not going to be able to get it. Ember Spirit ready for that attempt. And there goes the ink. Remember, we still have an Aegis to get through here, folks. Slark is taken out in a shameful manner as they go on Yowie 3000. Not looking good for Yowie. Good night, Irene, as they move onward. Goodbye, old man. He too will die of unnatural causes. Wait, he's alive.
Arena?
Well, what can he do? All right, Arena trying to turn it around here. Mars still has some BKB action left in him.
He Arena, but nothing happened.
Oof.
That was unfortunate.
Well,
And that was good execution for Execration. It's just at this point with these drafts, it's just really hard to win a fight. They picked off the Broodmother for free. They tried to take a 5v4, but there's just nothing. They don't have the damage.
They have been brooded, my friend. Second pick brooded. What a cursed timeline we live in this day. There was nothing they could do about it. I actually liked their draft too. I thought that they could handle the brood, but I don't know. It just wasn't enough.
They handled the aspects of brood that you immediately think about when you think of brood, like the spiders, the lane, but they didn't handle the team fight of the brood, which feels so weird to say. Like Old 11, he just built a bunch of tanky items. He has an AC, pipe, and Greaves, and you just can't kill this man without your entire team, like him buying too much time and his team killing yours.
Aegis is going to be popped here, so maybe a chance to do something, but Elder Titan is just going to be instantly knocked out. Insta buyback. Trying to buy some time as Slark is back up in 2 seconds. They probably will be able to defend this Ancient, so that's good. They do know the name of the game here, but Slark now in the middle of Pain Central, trying to make his way out. He's going to have to ult. Ancient at half HP, looking for the end. Mama wants to get her dinner. Baby's got to go to daycare. And goodbye. That will be it. Game 1 going to Vici Gaming. And what I would have to say, agree with the panel. That was very organized and delicious victory.
That was delicious.
Well, Owie, cooked up a good cast with you, buddy.
Yes.
That was the pun. I don't know. All right, well, the production says we have to keep filling, so anyway, final thoughts.
Just a very clean game from Vici. I think they identified really early about their win condition. I should say win condition, like their fight condition. They wanted to be able to force Execration to overstep into fights so their cores could come in later into fights and just dominate.
Yep.
And that's what happened. They just kept building up a network lead. Jug never died that game, I think.
Jug never died.
Couldn't kill him, man.
That is what we want from the AniMajor. Very on theme, very on point. We'll throw it back to the panel for one of the most kawaii people around. It's Catman Rich.
Hi, I'm Catman Rich, and I'm joined on the panel by Fogged and Effie, and I am excited to break that one down. We had Slacks put a few words in our mouths. He said that that was going to be a delicious series, which I don't remember anyone saying.
No.
But I do remember you guys very clearly breaking down the fact that these were two teams with two very different styles, and I think that we saw that not only in the draft, but we saw it in the game as well, Fogg.
Yep. Vici, very methodical the way that they let the Broodmother take the brunt of the pressure. Old 11, I'm not even sure how many deaths he has at the end of the game, but who cares? Because Juggernaut has 0 deaths. The Ember Spirit also popping off. Ori taking control of the game, playing super aggressive, breaking smokes left and right. Always picking the right team fights for them. They always knew exactly how to play where the Brood would die. They'd kind of avoid and dodge and just like poke to get the information, and then they'd take the fights afterwards once they start respawning and having their full lineup.
Agreed. And I have to say, I am so impressed with Old 11's micro. Like, that little spider bomb that he sent to the bottom racks was crazy. How do you even do that?
No clue.
Like, it looked like one spider hitting the bottom racks, but it was 30 stacked on top of each other or something like that.
Yep. And
that was pretty cool.
It's all throughout the game, the little things he does as Brood too. That's why I feel like you have to ban the Brood versus this guy, because it's like they're sieging bottom tower, and a lot of these times you see these Brood players like, they'll scout, they'll send like maybe one spiderling up above you. He sends like 10 or 11 or 15 or something in the jungle below to watch for TPs, 5 or something up above. He's just micromaster, knows exactly what items to build to. As we mentioned, the pipe build, pretty popular still. This game, it's a perfect example because he just can show up to the team fights with all this tankiness for his squishy supports in the back lines, and also it does protect the spiders versus the brunt of that burst.
Is this starting to feel like one of the series that maybe Execration's outclassed? Do you think Vici is going to be able to take the second one, Fogg?
I do think so.
It feels like that to me as well, Effie, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why I'm already starting to think about the big stakes, because this could make Vici get tied with Nigma to round out the day here. What are some of the tweaks as we watch some of these key moments from the last game? What are some of the tweaks that you instantly think we can see Execration make? Because Fogg already mentioned, really can't let a Brood go through again, but is there anything else, Effie, that you're looking to Execration to change?
Well, my biggest issue with Execration's draft was the last pick, Slark. I just don't think it fit into their draft that well. You picked Slark into Grimstroke, into Shadow Demon, into Brood. Like, he's just not going to have the easiest game. And in these long drawn out fights that Slark usually excels in, I didn't really feel his impact the way that hero should feel. It's just too hard for him to play against these heroes, but they went for him anyway. So I was hoping for the best out of it, but it went the way that I expected it to.
I think the Shadow Demon is even though you don't really think about it as being like this counter to Slark, I actually think it owns him. Like, you can't dispel the disruption. You get your Ags, and Slark is screwed. You can't actually play the way you want to play, where Slark is, you poke, you get out, you poke, you get out, you come back with tons of S and shift stacks, and then you can actually battle. But you get Demonic Purged, you can't actually build up your stacks at all, and he's got 3 charges of it, so you can't actually ever, poke and come back inside the fights and reset.
Yeah, so I think that we already saw Vici pull ahead very early in that one. We're going to be keeping that in our mind as we look at some of the stats as well. I know that also we mentioned Tiny was going to be the focal point if Execration was able to take that one. How did the Tiny look?
I think he delivered. Like, I think he did his job. It's just that I think the Slurk was just too out of place there.
Yeah,
I see what they were going for, right? They won the lane. They did have some of that early mid-game pressure. But these long, drawn-out fights were just too hard for him to play. For sure.
Yeah, and I think they actually did, like, I was actually very impressed. I was like, oh my god, it's 14-14.
Right.
Like, early game, they're invading Ancients. They stole the triple stack, right before the Jug actually gets Battle Fury. Some really good aggressive moves, but at the same time, it's like they're being forced to do these moves because of this humongous pressure that's coming out on the bottom and the side of the map. And in the meanwhile, they're taking Ancients, but the Jug's actually taking their mid tower or something like that. So there's just so many things that Vinci's doing in that very strategical kind of advantage way. Where sure, Execration's getting kills, but map control is starting to dwindle.
It never felt like Vici had their hands off the steering wheel for even a second there. It really did feel like they were determining everything that was happening in that game. But the question is it going to feel like that for the entirety of this series? We have one more game left here on this stream, and it is going to be Execration versus Vici in this best of 2, and we will have a lot of data moving into tomorrow. If you're just tuning in right now and you're not sure what's going on, first day of the major, we're kicking everything off with wildcard. Only 2 teams are going to move forward, then we're going to head into groups, and then we will get to the main event about 5 days from now. But with where we're at right now, I guess it's like kind of 4 because we're pretty much at the end of today. And it looks like Vici might be able to pull off a victory in that second game. This is one of the more convincing wins that I think we've seen throughout the day, and we've watched a lot of Dotes today.
Yep. I think most of us came into this looking at Vici as being this like absolute powerhouse in the wild card. So I think it's more surprising that they dropped the games earlier the way that they did, but now we're seeing their true form. We're sure they might be getting killed. The score might actually look a little different when you look inside that mid game, but strategical advantage was absolutely there.
Yeah. They still are controlling everything around. As we look at the standings right now, I mentioned this a few times, the fact that we did have the only series that went completely in favor of a team was Team Nigma. So they're going to have the only W on the board right now. Everything else has been a split so far. And Vici's trying to get up in the good graces with Team Nigma, and then we'll have 2 teams tied for first and everybody else tied for second. It's a total of 15 games that we're going to be playing throughout today and tomorrow, so there's still plenty of time. But did either of you guys expect to just see so many splits happen?
Yeah.
You expected this many splits?
I thought there might be, because it's hard to tell what's going to happen, but in these like high stakes wildcards where teams like Nigma and Vici really have to do everything they can, and then obviously teams like Secret having something to prove, and you don't know what you're going to expect coming out of it, and the Dota is just insane. Like, it's too one-dimensional to say that this team is better than the other team and they're just going to 2-0 them. Honestly, anything can happen in Dota, always. And it's the AniMajor, right? Like, there are going to be so many anime storylines, like power of friendship, someone might unlock.
Sometimes it works.
Someone might unlock their hidden potential.
Yeah. It's also just, it's cross-region play. You never really know until you get to the major and you start to actually see it. Sure, teams have been scrimming, but we don't get access to that, but we do get to find out like how crazy things start to unfold when teams are playing completely different play styles versus each other, like we just saw. Execration versus Vici. Execration put up a fight.
They did.
Vici was just a little bit better overall.
Yeah, scrims. We always hear the whispers of scrims, and you try to see if you can poke and prod to find something that will be useful inside of the information that you hear from scrims. But ultimately, we used to have a pretty solid flow of how we assess things back before we had this current format. It's definitely changed a lot now. Coming into this Fogged, when you are really trying to figure out which team you think is going to come out on top or what you're expecting inside of a draft, how much has it changed now that we have the league format?
What do you mean, like with all the regions being split up and everything? I think it makes teams just. You're stuck to your region, so you're all stuck playing the kind of same heroes and everything, and you're glancing at other regions, but you don't actually understand why they're actually making these heroes work. Because you can look and you can be like, Tree loves Brood, or China loves Tree and Brood, but then you pick it yourself and you're like, these heroes suck. because you're not actually understanding. You're not playing versus it, and then that's where you actually start to learn it. When you're watching other teams play, you get some type of understanding, but when you actually play it and lose to it, then you're like, oh wow, this is why X works. This is why this works. Instead of just looking at something, you actually get to play it.
It's like looking at a dish and not eating it, right? You're just not going to understand how it works at all, and you're missing a piece of the recipe sometimes if you just try to copy pasta the draft, right? Yep. You think it works one way, you don't play it, you don't lose to it. I think that example is really important, right? The idea of losing to something to actually figure out why it works. It's kind of the reverse engineering of Dota. Losing.
But an interesting thing about this like cross-regional play that Fog mentioned is just to see how teams like Vici react to things that Execration does. One of my favorite moments that game was just when Execration brought 5 heroes into their triangle and took their ancient stacks with no heroes that do ancient stacks. And Vici was not ready for it. They didn't even know that was happening. And then they just walk up there and they were like, what? They just didn't think that would happen. I thought that was so.
I always want to like be able to hear what the teams are saying sometimes, because players, you can be a little offensive and stuff like that. At times you can just be like, what the hell are these guys doing? Why are they doing this? But sometimes that's good. Sometimes you're catching these teams off guard. So yeah, it is good.
Guys, our stacks are gone.
Yeah, what the hell? Who the hell took our stacks? Like, why are they doing this? Why aren't they pushing top? Why are they doing this? So it's definitely fun to see the disparity and the differences between teams.
So as we get into the draft for our last game of the night, I feel like Void and Brood are two of the things you really don't want to let Vici have.
Yeah, they're very comfortable with the Void for sure. A lot of these harder kind of carries for Poyoyo he does excel at, but even his Jug, that was the last pick Jug. We saw the last pick Slark on the other side. I think the Slark ends the game, 6-6 or something? Jug ends the game 9-0. So it still is going to be definitely important to look at those core matchups, but overall it's still strategic. It's the strategic advantage that Vici does set themselves up with. And perhaps even the supports. We saw them now running Shadow Demon Grimstroke 2 times now. That looked excellent. So maybe looking at that a little bit too, rather than just the carry.
Okay, yeah, very important. Are you putting a lot of emphasis right now on their support duo?
Their support duo is so good.
Yep.
Honestly, favorite support duo of the tournament, by far. It just feels like they are so consistent with their performance. It's so natural and easy for them to always be at the right place, at the right time, doing the right thing. Like, they're rotating with every catapult. They're making the moves that they need to make. They're just really fun to watch.
You said Power of Friendship as well. We saw DY in that last fight of the game. He ink swells his buddy Shadow Demon to get the dispel on the spear. Like, these two are always just very aware of the situations inside a team fight of just spell casting in general. Like, even if it's, I'm not saving my core, I'm saving my support maybe in some situation, but they're very wary. So
I didn't get a chance to ask you, either of you, because we haven't been on a panel yet today, really haven't had a chance to talk about it. But when you got here, which two teams were you favoring the most to get out of wildcard before we even saw the play start?
Oof, I don't know what my secondary team. Vici was one. Secondary team I had kind of up for debate, especially because IG, I had them pretty highly regarded, but then they don't have Ollie, so it makes a pretty big difference. Besides that, I think I would have been kind of even between Secret and Nigma, because Nigma was improving toward the later season of the DPC, and Secret was doing kind of the same, but they had their ups and downs as well. They were kind of random inside the middle of the circuit.
My picks were Nigma, Vici. I had no concerns for Vici going into the wild cards. The stakes are there. They need to win, and for me, they're a good team. They have what it takes. They're my top pick, but Nigma, definitely, I thought they would do the anime power move that they always do when they're in these high pressure situations. And I feel like there's a psychological factor in Dota that people don't really talk about too much, but when you're desperate, when you need something, you really can become a better player. Your performance can improve.
Definitely.
And we see that, we've seen that coming out of Nigma historically. So I was never worried about them.
I was definitely a little bit, watching the circuit I was, but like you said, the test wasn't really, at them just yet to be able to make it to a major, make it to TI, etc. Now it's their lives are on the line. They don't want to go through this horrific qualifiers that will come out afterwards. So,
but it's still day one.
Definitely important.
It's still day one.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
It's early, but also when you get this far in the day, it starts to feel like the sands are starting to shift to the bottom of the hourglass, and we will see which of the two teams are going to survive the cruel fate that time has for all of us and make it all of the way to day 3.
Look what time can do to you.
What were you pointing at?
Nothing.
Careful. Yeah. Do we actually? We might get a TA game.
First fan brood.
We haven't seen it yet. I've been waiting for the entire tournament for it to sneak through. The question is, will it sneak through?
It's just will Execration also just snap pick it is the other question too, because now Vici's in a position where they can be like, okay, well.